Hello everyone, we're ready.
Hey.
Hey.
Hi.
Oh.
How's it going?
Good, you?
Yeah, I'm good.
Were you talking to the audience there, Anouk?
Yeah, I was.
It's like, hey.
I was including people. It's like, they can answer.
We're an inclusive podcast here.
Exactly. Why not?
So today is a special episode. Laura Elle Watson is with us today. Woo!
Woo!
So I was thinking, what do you think about the Laurel Yanny
Oh,
thing?
God, that thing.
Hands down Yanny. Anyone who says Laurel is lying to themselves. It is Yanny every time.
I heard Yann, and then Yannel. That's what I heard, really.
Yeah.
It started like Yann, and then I heard Laurel at the end. I'm like, I didn't hear the start of Laurel or the end of Yanny. I'm like, is that a thing? I heard nothing.
You had both?
Sort of. Not even both.
So
Like, I missed
strange.
the start and the end of separate words. So I was like, does that count?
Yeah. But you had both then.
I guess. I don't know.
Interesting.
What about you?
I heard Yanni as well.
Okay, good.
Getting
Right
judged over
answer.
here. Like.
I think most people heard Yanni. Like, I haven't met that many people that said they heard Laurel.
I used to hear it because it's very like it's Yanny. That's what I hear. And Laurel, or it's not Laurel like this. It's a Laurel. It's like a lower pitch.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah. So if you go at the first 10 times it was Yanny, and then I went to search for a lower pitch, and then I heard the Laurel, and I cannot hear anything else than Laurel now.
It's a good job. It's a good job that that's not copyrighted, because a good way that some people get around copyright laws on like YouTube and stuff is that they'll upload something but change the pitch either like a half semitone up or a half semitone down to avoid it.
Yeah.
I know. It's not even a. It's mostly. I see drum covers doing it a lot because it's very difficult to do a drum cover without any music. But if you use the actual song, because I know this because I used to do it when I was a teenager. You just get flagged straight away because obviously it's the record label claim it. It's not actually the artist. It's just part of the label, because now YouTube hits for music videos count to Billboard positioning as well. So it's like a very big thing to like clamp down on people taking the song and all that sort of stuff, because they make money from being on YouTube as well. But if they did that for the Yanni and Laurel thing, that would totally screw with like what you would hear.
Well, they said that it depends on your register, like how your brain, like the register that you usually hear. So if you have like, thank you, the if you have like a high register, then you will hear one thing, and if you're low register, then you hear another.
For the audio podcast, Yann just moved Anouk's mic.
Yeah, now can you just I'll just do this to lower it a bit, so you can see
The skill there to do that with one hand and not just like knock it over. I would be like knocking shit over by now.
We can see your face better that way.
Again, for audio listeners, Yann miraculously leapt across the table and readjusted mics with one hand.
He leapt across the table.
And with and with a blindfold on as well. That's how cool Yann did it there.
Juggling and everything.
Ring of fire and all that.
And what about the royal wedding then?
Oh yeah, that happened.
It's a very British thing to do.
Yeah.
God, did anyone not know that was happening? Oh, it was just everywhere. You couldn't escape it. No matter where you went, if it was Twitter, it was like mainstream media. It was everywhere.
Yeah.
But I think.
Do you think you're a royalist?
I don't think I am, but I think, and we'll probably talk about this more in future episodes with like marketing. Marketing in films make you hate the movie until you sit down and watch the movie and you go, okay, this is fine. I think that was the same for the royal wedding, because my mum watched it because she was like, I just want to see what they're wearing, which I feel a lot of people do, because it's like it's a very good reason to like see like extravagant designers, because it's a big event. I think it was like near 2.1 billion people watched that event, because it was live streamed on YouTube as well.
It was more in America, of course.
Of course, yes, because a Canadian was becoming.
There was the.
Yes, but also America loves the royal family.
She is Canadian, right? And
she is.
Yeah,
Canadian.
she was born Canadian.
Okay. Oh well.
Canadian.
I don't know.
I said she was born a Canadian.
You did say.
Did I say born in Canada? Born in Canada.
No, there was Mr. What else? Nespresso. George was there.
Oh, that was funny. I saw somebody. It's like, oh, there's what's his wife?
Amal Clooney.
There's Amal Clooney and her husband. I was like, okay, so that's how you're describing George Clooney.
I love
That's
it.
great.
I've been waiting for this moment to come. He is her accessory, I think. It's not the other way about. She's a fabulous woman.
She looked so beautiful as well in that orange. Oh my god, orange, right?
Yellowy. They were calling it mustard
Yellowy
yellow.
mustard.
I think that's what my mum described it as.
Mustard yellow. She looks so
Yeah,
amazing.
it was more. It was amazing because obviously they were sat next to another American couple, and we've seen the David Letterman Netflix series that he did an episode with George Clooney, so you get to see where George Clooney's from, where his family stays, and it's just like a regular little town in America. So they're just sitting in the Windsor Church and just been like, oh, bloody hell, look at this. This board behind us is older than our country by like 500 years at least.
Yeah.
So we'll go into the shout outs and plugging time right away without the song. So Laura, what's new since we saw you last? What's this Mia thingy?
Oh, so Mia has been doing really well. It's kind of just finishing its circuit at festivals. And yeah, it's been having a lot of positive feedback, a few big wins and some other great nominations. So yeah, it's been a wonderful experience getting to be involved in that and see what it's like and having your work be out there and people know about it. I mean, I worked in a new project just recently and the girl was like, oh, you're the girl from Mia. And I'm like, wow, yeah, that is me.
Oh my God.
So
Another
yeah,
step
exciting.
up that notability ladder. Yes.
Absolutely. It's weird to think that it was the first thing I did after leaving ACS, and it seems like so long ago, and I feel like as a performer you change and develop so much in short periods of time, so I don't even really recognize myself in the film anymore. So it's weird that it is kind of just getting out there and people are seeing it for the first time, because for me it just feels like a lifetime ago now.
And you watch it and go, oh wow, that's how I used to act back then. And you're like,
Exactly.
wait till you see me now.
That's the bane of many an actor that, well, except if you're on the stage, but your film either just never is never released or takes ages to actually be seen by people.
Yeah, that or the fact that you've had, like, say you did like 6 great takes and 1 bad take, and they've decided to go with a bad take. And you're like, oh, for God's sake, could they have not gone with the other one?
I did a film like a kind of October, November last year, and it's still in post.
Oh yeah.
And so the director, because I'm working with him on a play now, he keeps on saying, oh, I'll get that film to you, and I'm like, oh, that was like ages ago. Like, okay,
Get the play done first, then we'll have a go
I
at
know,
the edit.
it's crazy. And I don't even remember me acting in it because it was just so long ago. I've done so much since.
I'm the same. I did a student one where it was like a busker on Buchanan Street. I don't know if I told this story on the podcast. So we were doing it, and it was obviously like a graded unit sort of thing. And I came on the second day. I was playing the other main character. They'd already filmed previously with the other actor, who I don't know his name, and I won't say it because this story goes badly. He'd worked on BBC Social. I think that's one of the reasons they had a theory that the guy just thought, no, this is beneath me or something. But that's what they were saying. We don't know because I never really spoke to him. Anyway, I arrive about 11, and they're like, oh, we'll break him for lunch. We'll get you in like makeup because they were going to shoot he has a fight with me, so they're like, we'll do the makeup thing first and then we'll take it off and go from there. So I get this full makeup stuff on, and it gets like an hour later and he's still not back, and it's like, okay, this is a bit weird. And like another half an hour passed, and they're like, where is he? And then they just couldn't get him. He just walked off halfway through, which was more weird because the day before he'd shot all his scenes. So he'd shot a whole bunch of stuff the day before, and all he had left to do was the stuff with the antagonist, me. But he's like, nah, I'm just not going to do it, and walked off. Wow. So they had to like scavenge it together. And I'm like, I won't see that because I can't imagine how they edited that for a project. But man, that was pretty bad. I was like, nah, that's not great.
Just ruin it for everyone.
But I remember my acting, and I was like, this isn't great, because I think I hadn't done it for a while, especially on film. It was like the end of last year. I was like, oh God, this is how we act again.
Yeah. It is a discipline. So,
yeah, definitely.
You're on stage this summer, Laura, aren't you?
Yes, I am. I'm going to do a little plug for my play. I am going to be in a play called The Edge of You at the Fringe every day aside from Sundays, 12 o'clock at the space at Jury's Inn, right off the bridge. Come along.
Postcodes.
We have just recently started rehearsals and it's going really well. It's really exciting to be doing a play. I have not done a play since we were at drama school and it's so nice. You forget how fun and enjoyable it is to be part of the collaboration and to see things from the ground up and to like really get into the text day after day, which is something that's kind of missing in filming. You kind of get in, you do your job and you leave and that's you done with it. Whereas doing a play, I think it like lives with you a bit more and there's so much more like gratifying work to be had in it. And yeah, I'm just loving it. Yeah, really long rehearsal days and really intense. A lot of acro yoga and running and just staring deeply into each other's eyes for 6 hours. But it's cool, yeah.
Surely you love the yoga part though.
You would think, but I am a lot less fit than I was a year or 2 years ago. And my thighs have just been burning for days. Like I couldn't walk down my 2 steps outside my house yesterday. It was just like, pain. But yeah, hopefully it'll be worth it.
Is it our tickets available already?
I don't think tickets have been released yet. I think it will be when the program comes out, which I think is imminent. Hopefully,
sure.
then.
I think it's like mid-June, isn't it?
Yeah,
something like that.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, they should be there. The Edge of You. Check it out.
Cool.
Excellent.
So today we are going to talk about a movie called A Good Year, which was directed by Ridley Scott. But before we do that, a few other shout-outs. So I talked in the Highlander episode about a gentleman called Thierry de Carbonnière, who was the very first time I did an acting workshop in 2009. My parents got me that for my 20th birthday. That was with this guy. And at the time, as a parting gift when I left, because we had the vineyard already, I brought some bottles and we had a taste and everything. And he asked me he actually took a box of 6 and he just wrote his second novel. So that's this. The first one, which is way older, so it's only in French, I'm pretty sure. But in the second one, he. Do
you want to give the names for the audio listeners?
I will. Yeah, I will do that in a second and explain what it's about. But he included. There is my mother's wines mention in that second book. It's mentioned. So yeah, it's called Thierry de Carbonnière. The first one. It's quite remarkable because it says récit, which is kind of a tale, but it's actually a novel. So there was but it reads like it's a biography.
Okay.
And it's the story that you never hear of those small roles actors, one-line actors. They like the protagonist in this went to the this like prestigious state subsidized French drama school,
right?
Comédie d'art dramatique. I don't remember, but yeah. So basically, it's the struggles of trying to continue to work with just having one line, and all other actors telling him, yeah, it's good for you. You have this part, one line, and there's this line like the cab is parked a bit further away. Like that's the line with which he actually earns his money, and because he also has kids. That's the protagonist in there, and he talks about there's the intermittent du spectacle. That's one unique thing we have in France, is that if you do 507 hours, so that's 23 and 43 gigs, you enter in that category. And then you have like kind of a pension. The state completes. So it's if you had a salary.
Right, for everyone or for actors, like in the
for performers who actually qualify to that special thing.
That's interesting.
When it started, it was 2000 or something. Like these days, 250,000 performers actually have this thing. So it's always
That's very nice.
they have to actually wait until that amount of hours and things happen.
Wow.
They also talk about how casting directors, when you're in the cast, they're like gods. What just if they asked you, it's quite crude what he said. But you want to see my dick? Yeah, I'll just put it out. No worries. And the jealousy and all the tagline in there says an actor unveils the surprising cruelty of his profession.
Right. Do you think, because obviously we have the revelation about casting couches and all that coming out now, do you think by the time because obviously right now it will change, but it'll take time, because obviously there will probably be people still out there doing these sort of things at the moment, because, some people don't change until they get caught, so that won't happen to me. But do you reckon by the time, like say in 10 years where it's people our age are in those positions, that it's more likely to change? Do you think? Or is casting couching always going to be a thing?
I see no reason why it has to be a thing, but I do agree with you. It's going to take some time to get out of these very established practices, which for a lot of the time haven't been okay, but have very much been
enabled.
The standard, absolutely, and have been enabled by people knowing full well it's happening. And there's been this culture of that just being the way things are. And I think now we're at a place where the culture knows that that's not okay. I wouldn't say the culture is a place where it's changed, but it's definitely heading in the right direction.
Because I always think of like these casting couch things as like you see them in like 40s noir films, like that idea of like, God, this world is really seedy, and the thought of that not have changed within like 60 years is pretty depressing, actually, as an actor, because it's regardless of gender or age or whatever, any one of us four could walk in and be subject to that sort of like intimidation and pressure, regardless of who we are. Especially more for women, obviously, because it's very much a male-run industry at the moment.
And also women are more likely to be sexualized.
Yes, of course.
At a younger age, so it's probably more likely to be women. But yeah, of course, there are definitely times where men have been.
You look to the Kevin Spaceys and then you look to the Harvey Weinsteins. It's like both sides, but obviously both are horrific.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, it's awful.
The reason I'm saying this is like, how old is your teacher?
He's around 50.
50. So he's writing. So when his age of like being cast is what, probably about the 80s and the 90s then, or maybe younger, even like 70s, 80s.
He had a major leading role in a movie with a great director in the 80s.
80s, okay.
Yes, and so that was the first book. It's like Salut et applaudissements. That's what you get at the end when the play's done. You get like Salut et applaudissements. You get claps and stuff. The second one,
hopefully, if you were good, you get claps.
There's this thing also. I put in his book. That's where I read it. That in France, for some reason, I don't know if it's like an unsaid rule or anything, if in the audience you have so if you have less people in the audience that they are on stage, the play's cancelled for that day, for that moment.
Oh, you said this to me. Anouk, are you panicking because you can't hear anything?
No, what is that noise?
Are you sugarling your leg?
I don't know, kids maybe outside? Is it too late
Sounds
for
like
kids?
an alarm.
Oh, really?
Is it like this? It's like a jingly noise, right?
Oh, could it be the wine glasses?
It's probably the wine glasses. Are you shaking? Are you doing your leg shake?
No.
I thought that might have been it.
And the second one
might have been. I don't know. I do it.
Anyway. The second one is about him having success. So he had this soap. So people actually recognize him in the street. Ils me reconnaissent, so they recognize me. That was just released. And it says here that's the the marketing stuff by the philosophy teacher of your favorite TV series.
I assume that's the role he was.
It
right?
was yes. And it's funny because the series is called Plus belle la vie, which is kind of a the kind of stuff we have here. Well, you have here Holby City and River City.
Right.
I think I've not watched, but
not River. River City is not about like. There won't be very many doctors or characters in River City. I don't think. I don't know. I've never watched River City.
I've watched Tom Urry extracts.
Right.
Yeah, very nice. Yeah, very nice and funny stuff. But there's this thing. I haven't read the second one yet. That's where the quote, well, the mention is. But I will. That's now that he had success. Anyway, another shout out. Isolani will be at the Glasgow Film Theatre on the 7th of June.
It's this Thursday. No.
Next Thursday.
A
week tomorrow, because tomorrow's the first. Is there 31st?
31st tomorrow.
Right, so it's Friday is the first. I should know this for council tax reasons. I'm just going to move the glasses in case it was, so just keep going.
Okay, I actually broadcast the Iceland trailer now for people at home.
Oh, sweet. Just in case it's these.
Last night, you called the ambulance.
Yes.
You told the operator he's bleeding a lot. Dead men don't bleed, Isla. Blood settles. Stops.
I didn't do anything.
We are back.
Did you enjoy that?
Yeah.
God, that sounded terrible. No, I'm like...
Did you enjoy what?
The trailer, that's what Yann was showing.
Yeah, the Isolane trailer. So it's on the 7th at the Glasgow Film Festival. Tickets, I'll put the link at some point, right after we're done here. We've seen it. We've seen the movie at Rain Dance, and there was PJ was there.
That's very true.
And there was a very, very nice and long, because it was the last film of the day, Q&A. And they will also have a Q&A at the GFT. So really...
Nice.
Yeah, it's... really, that was very nice last time.
Yeah, you definitely enjoy it. It's a very good film. It's well worth seeing.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah. There was for our video viewers, a magic trick happened. You now have rosé and white bottles on the table.
Yeah, or you're very stickler. There's a continuity error for the first 20 minutes of the episode.
Yeah.
Yes. Before we delve into the movie and the tasting, Laura, what's in Japan in April and May? Because Philip DeFranco, PewDiePie, everyone went there at that period of time.
Yeah, you're right. It is the most popular time in Japan, and it's because of the Sakura season. So Sakura just means cherry blossom, and Japan is famous for their cherry blossoms. There is more cherry blossoms per square mile than any other country in the world, I think. And of course, cherry blossoms are notorious for only coming out for about 2 weeks of the year, and then they're gone until next time. So everyone floods to Japan from Japan itself, like other nationals, and then other people like me and PewDiePie and anyone else you mentioned go, just to kind of see that. And we were lucky that we did catch it. We actually were worried that we were going to miss it all because they were about a week early this year. And that can obviously really affect, you need to book flights in advance. You need to book your accommodation, especially because it's so busy. And then you're watching the forecast being like, oh, is it? Is it not? Is it? But we were really lucky to see some of that. And it is an incredible, spectacular thing to see, especially when they start kind of falling off in the wind and it's just this pink dust blowing past. It's all very magical and mythical.
On that note, has anyone else seen something spectacular, like nature-wise, anywhere? Just for conversation piece. I think I've seen one. I'm just curious if anyone else has.
What's your one?
Well, I remember when I went to Antigua when I was about 8 or something. I saw like turtles coming up laying eggs on a beach,
Nice,
which was unbelievable. I was like, wow, I've never seen anything like that ever, especially like tropical. I mean, the only other one I compare is like, again, we went back, but we did like for my dad's 50th, we did was it 40th? No, it'd be 50th because he's 62 now, so it was a while ago. We went like on this boat and you did like snorkeling and stuff. I saw like lobsters going across the seafloor as well, which was really cool too. Most of mine are about fish, but fish are quite majestic. There's something enticing about the water, isn't there, Yann? Having spent many years on it.
The two things I can remember is actually seeing the green ray and diving with dolphins.
Ah, okay.
Oh, nice.
But not in a tank.
Yeah. That's really cool.
Wow.
Yeah, they're there. It was in Tahiti times.
Tahiti,
so whales, dolphins, they're usually afraid of bubbles, so you can't really go dive and dolphins, you have the risk of being raped always, because they're perverts. But
yes, I've heard
dolphins are very frisky animals. I think we talked about this in Okja as well, briefly, because obviously it was all about animals. But yeah,
they're very intelligent, and I think they're very sexual.
Yeah, they are, aren't they?
Yeah, they're chimpanzees, I want to say.
Bonobos.
Yeah,
bonobos are the ones that like to get it on.
Yeah.
So is that why dolphins pull people into like enclosures? Just like, I'm just thinking of that video and it's like the woman's like standing there and like nabs her like at the side.
It grabs her plushie doll.
Oh, does it?
I
thought it was her phone.
Holding onto it.
Oh,
she's
yeah.
Kind of,
yeah. Or that seal that dragged like a kid into like a marina. That's another one that was quite recent.
I haven't seen that.
So it's like a group of like tourists and then there's like this little kid looking at a sea lion and she turns to walk away and it just like boom grabs her and pulls her into the water and like two people dive in to get her. I was like, bloody hell.
It's terrifying.
That is
Stick to penguins.
I know, they're cute.
Penguins. Benedict Cumberbatch penguins.
Oh,
Penguins.
Hollywood should have had a laugh. It's like phone him up. It's like, do you want to be in the next Batman film? It's like, who am I playing? Oh, you tell us. who do you want to play?
Penguin.
Penguins, yes.
And you seen anything majestic? Except for me in the mornings.
Nature. I mean, my boyfriend right here.
What a zinger there.
No. Nature-wise, I can't think of one. But
surely something in like
one thing that I have seen that's incredible is the Taj Mahal in India. It's like a whole other level of beauty. It's like you can't even describe it. Like I've never seen anything so amazing. You kind of think because you've seen it so much in like magazines and stuff that it won't hit you as much, but it really does. It's like insanely beautiful. So yeah.
It was the present from a guy to his girl, wasn't it? The Taj Mahal.
I know.
No, she died.
That was it's a cemetery.
It was. It's for his dead wife, even though he had like other wives as well. I think.
I have a feeling that the Taj Mahal is actually for his mistress, but I'm not sure. That might be me making it up, but I think it's.
I think it's the other way. It might be the other way around. I think
she's buried there. That's her
she's there.
tomb. Like it's not like a thing. It's like. If you go inside the Taj Mahal, it's like a.
That's reminded me of the Idiot Abroad series where Carl Pilkington, the god of podcasting in the OG days, did like their end the world tour and they send him to like India to see the Taj Mahal, and they're doing like the bit before like explaining a bit about India and the Taj Mahal, and he's like, "What's this?" And they're like explaining, "Oh, he built it for his dead wife, but he had mistresses," and he's like, I wonder if she replies like, "Have I built this for my missus?" And it's like, "What have you been doing? Why are you building me this?" So no reason. I love you.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think we should probably. So basically, the idea is my mom built this vineyard out of nothing.
On rock
In
and roll.
Shush.
2006, there was nothing. Everything was abandoned. For like the vines were abandoned for a few years, like 4 years, but the actual winemaking facility, like 40 years. So she had to make everything. So now that's what we're about to taste. And I also brought some other stuff to have a go at stuff that I've never tried. That is a Margaux. Well, not the Chateau Margaux because that's thousands, but still it's a 80-pound bottle. So we'll try this Coravin thingy, so we can have still. We'll start by tasting the rosé.
Okay.
Yes. We'll start by the one which is a bit special, which is, let me get to the, right. That's Cuvée des Cigales. So most of them, they are all available from the website. Well, we don't really send abroad yet, but or in the restaurant. The only ones that you can't get is the Nightfall one. That's the middle red on the frame. If you can see it there, I'll post pictures along with the audio. Which is I got thinking about it. Les Vallons de Fontfresque is the name of the vineyard. I came up with the Vallon, and Fontfresque is a bit kind of reminiscence of old house that we have in Provence. And it's like a old Provençal word, which means fresh spring. Fontfresque, like Fontfresca. And yeah, now Nightfall, that was also an idea of mine, which because it's a French restaurant, that's quite weird. And my sister who managed that is a night bird, a bird of the nightfall. So yeah. So I will open right now because I will actually open the rosé. That's fine. I'll just the red depending on how we do. I'll try the Coravin or no,
Okay.
I know that for the Margaux I'll definitely use the Coravin. So we still have for when Mia comes maybe. I know we have to convert her to rosés.
Of course.
Last time I talked with her, she said, nah, rosés are not wine.
She hates
okay.
rosé.
It's probably because Emma's introducing her to like Echo Falls. I'm like,
That's true. Echo Falls is not wine.
Echo Falls. Echo Falls are rosé.
Echo Falls.
I love that video. I think I still have that. Emma's first night out in Glasgow with her proper ID.
A very drunk Emma.
Yeah.
So this is Cuvée des Cigales. It's half, maybe not half, but there's some Uni Blanc and Roll, which is the Provençal name for Vermentino. That's two varieties there. The cork is, what do you call
Difficult.
It's coming out there slowly.
That's that's not real cork. That's plastic.
Oh.
Oh wait. Oh no, this one is wait. Oh, because now they look so like corks. It's weird.
They've done so well.
Ooh.
What a nice pot.
It's a good capture on the audio there, Yann.
I'll do better next time. Because it was not in front. Yeah. So the whole harvest and the sorting and everything is done by hand. The only thing that we get with a machine is putting the wine in the bottles and sealing the capsules and stuff. So if you could hand me the smaller glasses, please.
Are we doing it in proper glasses, like for drinking the bright?
Yeah, just get them to me. Yeah, okay, cool.
Is it something about the oxygen
Apparently,
mixing with the wine?
apparently the best thing to drink tea in is a glass cup. Apparently.
Wait,
like in India.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll try to get that sound.
Beautiful.
Oh.
Yeah, that's well done. That was well done.
Well
So
done.
yeah, I think the reason that red wine glasses are bigger is so you can get more of your nose in.
Ah, right.
So you can smell it and give it more
First,
room to breathe, whereas
Ah, okay.
the white gets directed more to your nose because it's not as.
Oh, okay.
Yann's going to correct me and tell me I'm entirely wrong, I'm sure, but that's my
that's
understanding.
That's not entirely correct. But yes.
Is that who's
I'll
this
give it
is?
to Laura. Give our guest first hospitality.
so
and all
true.
that, yes.
It's a very pretty colour.
It's a very peony pink.
It's like peach.
Or peach.
Yeah.
That works. It smells like summer in a glass. Oh, to be in Spain sipping on some wine.
Oh, if only,
With
yeah.
bread and olive oil. That's my
Or
favourite
in
thing to do.
Provence. Yeah,
That's true.
that's
There,
very true.
that works.
That does work.
While Jan's pouring, we're using the device of being a movie podcast to discuss a film called The Good Year by Jan mentioned earlier by Ridley Scott. If we forget to talk about the episode because we're drinking wine, it's totally understandable, right? We're drinking French wine. We'll mention it at some points, but mostly it'll probably be talking about the family vineyards. Because I mean, the reason we picked this movie is because it is kind of about falling in love with Provence and wine. Well, maybe not even the wine in the movie, but in this case, it will be falling in love with different wines that we haven't tasted before.
It's like a lifestyle as well, isn't it?
Very true.
I was trying to find the one that was suitable, the movie that was like same kind of philosophy as what my mum is trying to bring here. There was A Walk in a Cloud, and a very old one with the Keanu Reeves, but this one was the only one, A Good Year, I actually saw before. Yeah, what was those noises?
Oh, me and Adam
Bliss.
might have had a cheeky
We're like-
sip. We got impatient.
This is the Scottish over here. Like nobody went. It's like get stuck in,
There's
mate.
booze in my hand. I will drink it.
Yeah,
Don't mind if I do, eh?
yeah. Usually, you get those weird noises when you taste like. But we're actually we're drinking. So santé.
Santé.
Mmm.
Yeah, that is good. There's been a while since I've had the rosé. I think I bought you a bottle of rosé, Anouk,
Wow.
for Christmas 2016, I think,
Yes,
or your
you
birthday, when Jan, yeah.
Yeah, you did.
That's been a while, but
I've kind of had a bit of an obsession with Yann's wine for a long time because I'm such a wine drinker. I love wine. And I think when it was my birthday, I think you asked Yann to bring me like a bottle of red or something.
Yeah, it was last year's birthday. I got the couple of reds because you were getting into red wine again. So I was like, right, okay, we'll go
Yeah.
reds this time.
I was getting into
Reds.
No, the.
It's yummy.
I think the fact that the glasses are a bit bigger also helps with the. So I have no idea how it's called in English, but la robe. Whether the alcohol actually staying moving
Yes.
on the glass.
Oh.
Yeah.
We do have a term for that, which I do not remember.
Ah.
It'll come back to me at some point through this episode, and I always scream it out.
Okay.
Uh,
I was
We'll
going
just
to
be
look
going.
it up,
So
but
we'll be just be going. So bye. If I should join in, Laura's like bye. Oh wait a minute.
it's funny because I never, I drink. I'm not really necessarily a specialist or appreciator of wine, so I couldn't say, oh yeah, I can taste some strawberry in there or whatnot. However,
Well, luckily for you, Jan, I am, and I can tell you for a fact, I'm getting a hint of grapes.
no,
There's definitely grapes in this.
No, it's
you
probably
connoisseur.
it's probably because I haven't tasted in a while because I was like submerged by a kind of honey aroma. You also get that kind of stuff? No?
I find it interesting that as soon as anyone says any flavor or scent, you can immediately smell it
Yeah.
or taste it. And now I'm not entirely sure if I'm just going along with you or not.
That's very true.
No, I get or like a very like flowery, almost.
Yeah, it's very light. Like
I'm getting some like blushing berry taste.
I'm getting smashed. I don't know about
Very
you.
Soft. You're like 2 sips in, Adam.
Nah, I'm joking.
I don't have the info, but we always, even the rosés, a part of the volume actually stays in oak barrels.
Oh, okay.
Depending on the difference in the reds is actually the actual varieties and the time, how long they stay in the oak barrels, part of the volume for.
So you mentioned the fact that it was when did your mum open the vineyard?
2006. So
Six. So you were.
The year A Good Year came out.
That's very true, actually.
Very nice.
See how we planned it?
Yeah, there we go. There we go.
That's quite interesting. Yes.
We know what we're doing.
So obviously you were an adult, right? So what did you think when your mum was like, I'm going to open a vineyard?
I was an adult and I was about to leave to Tahiti, so I was not there for the first harvest, which always will. So we went. I was jet setting 2 weeks ago in London, and we went to one of the Gordon Ramsay flagships.
Okay.
So that's a Petrus.
Ah, okay.
That's the only restaurant in the world where you can get Petrus by a glass, thanks to those which Coravin extracting wine from the bottle without cork, because argon gas is the whole system. Anyway, and we talked with someone there, which really convinced my mum, which I've been convinced about that for years, but I just didn't. There was not the click to, okay, you need to do that to actually tell her story, because it's a very, you don't have that many, because I would say like her unique selling points that she's an artist, she paints, she sculpts.
Yeah, you mentioned in Call Me By Your Name, your mum's a sculptor.
Yeah, she's been not repressed, but kind of, she raised us first. She made sure we weren't like crazy kids, or like she
make sure my children aren't fuck ups.
Like,
check.
Like, I mean, yeah, we talked in the God of War. It's summer, but it's a son. Like, I mean, it's like she's like the pillar of the.
Oh yeah, Anouk's like, fuck that kid. Me and Yann are like, yeah, but she will forgive him. It's her son. Balder wasn't a bad
Balder
man.
and Freya.
Yeah, yeah.
I just finished it last night.
That's so good, isn't it?
Yeah. But yeah, what a dysfunctional relationship that is.
Oh god.
Yeah,
really
well,
messed up.
Yeah, as Mia, you played Sex Android, so you probably like Detroit Become Human. We just finished it yesterday. Have you tried that?
Cool. I didn't play it. I watched some streamers play it and kind of just absorbed it that way. I was a fan in a very loose sense of Heavy Rain. It's just such a meme. It's hilarious.
Which Jason?
Yeah.
Sean.
So yeah, I was really interested to see it, but I really kind of wish that I did play it instead of watching it.
But we're going to discuss it. We can maybe arrange something that we could play through it at some point.
Yeah, it's very streamable.
Yeah, it's very streamable.
It's like 2,000 pages script. And the outs are just unbelievable, the number of outs that we have.
I was raging because we finished it last night, and it's not really a spoiler. There was a bit where like everything looked like it was going to go badly, and I'm like, you know what? They're in a barricade, we're going to sing, and then people started singing, and then I'm like, oh. And then it completely went the other way, and I was like, I'm so angry. I'm like, I bet if I'd made one decision earlier, I probably could have saved the day, but no.
Well, I don't know if you remember the... they have a picture of like on the media, like, oh, this just happened and this just in, and it shows like the mall totally on fire.
Yeah.
But I think that probably changes depending on what choices
Yeah,
you
that's
made.
very true.
So
yeah.
because yours was fully like on fire, it was like, that's why the public was like, well, fuck the androids.
Yeah,
like
basically.
they're kind of violent, horrible things.
Mm-hmm.
No, good game. Heavy Rain, I agree. There's just some stuff in there you're like, for God's sake. For example, me and Yann were playing it because he got it free when he pre-ordered Detroit, and he was like investigating this crime scene. He's like, right, I think I'm done here, I'm going to leave. He gets to the car, and then the game like cuts back to the body. I'm like, Yann, you've not looked at the dead body yet, come on.
Nah, I'm out.
He's like, I'm going home now, I've seen what I need to see.
No, the fact that they added the flowcharts is like makes it highly replayable. I played once. It was my story with that with those characters, and then I played another one time. I wanted to do the shortest version possible, so the female protagonist was killed in 3 scenes. It was done with her.
Yeah.
And then it was just a 5-hour streams when you can. It's like 10 hour of content. But if you want 100%, it's way more. It can amount to 40 hours. The only thing I will say about it before we move on is the fact I've seen people complain that the flowcharts break immersion, like because you finish a level and you see like, oh, here's what you could have done. Maybe a good decision could have been is like you leave that till you complete the game, and then once you've completed the game the first time through, they give you the flowchart and say like, here's all the things that could have gone. So once you're done with your story,
But again, that's too difficult. But
I think it depends on what kind of gamer you
that's
are.
very true.
Because
as
I
well.
think for me that changed, that messed up immersion, but that's because I was watching it, and that's the kind of, I can't even call myself a gamer,
It
but
did-
like that's how I'll like absorb.
It did make you kind of like, I
Games.
immediately want to restart and play that again. So maybe it took you out of the story a bit, but it doesn't break the immersion, I don't think. But yeah, there are no androids in this wine. Just to bring it back to wine.
Oh, that was a terrible
I know,
like,
it was
little swerve there.
I'll go again. It's like, I love that scene in God of War where he drinks the Spartan wine. Yeah, there you go. There's the link. That's the wine.
Link.
There you go.
Let's drink some wine.
I don't know how the Facebook live chat works, but hello to Francis. I think he came at some point, and Mira also.
Oh,
Hi.
Yes. Hello.
We're drinking rosé, which you are definitely hating us for.
It's
Yeah.
lovely though.
It's so yummy.
It's dry. It's not like sweet, sugary.
Echo Falls.
It's not Echo Falls.
It's not
We-
Echo Falls.
You see, the other one is is a bit different. Well, way different, and that's the one who got the Feminales silver medal. That's the
That's it.
jury composed exclusively of women.
I think you should have that on your website. It's not Echo Falls. Laura L. Watson.
Yes.
But the small one, that's a sweet white wine. We only started to have those 2 years ago.
Okay.
That's super
I'm a
yummy.
sucker for a sweet wine.
I love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, me too.
Is that actually called a dessert wine? Is
Mm.
that what desserts? Okay.
Well, it can
Careful,
be used.
yeah.
For, it's mostly used for desserts or foie gras.
Ah, right, okay.
Ah.
Foie gras.
Foie gras, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I went wine tasting in Hungary, in Budapest, with my mum, and their biggest global export is their sweet wines. They're like, I think something to do with the region and the temperature. Like, they're much better at producing high quality dessert wines than they are anything else. Like, they can't compete with the likes of France and New Zealand and California for their white, but their dessert wine is definitely up there with the best that you can get.
Nice.
Well,
Lovely.
It's yummy.
There's something I didn't know existed until I visited a part of Greece. They also have some parts sweet red,
Oh, okay.
Oh.
which is quite a weird concept.
Interesting.
But yeah. And there is one winery in France who is like specialized in that, and they have a massive success.
I always think of red wines like being accompanying like meat, like steak. For example,
full-bodied.
we've got a butcher shop voucher over there, and the last time me and Anouk went, it's like, oh, we'll have this, and then we'll have a bottle of Merlot, because you're quite a fan of a Merlot. Malbec, other one.
Malbec.
Malbec.
Adam.
Malbec, oh god.
It's been nearly 3 years, Adam.
2.5, slow down.
Weddings and kids next.
Oh, behave yourself.
It'll be great for the tax.
And it's lucky that Jamie lives in the US, because I would have moved here if she wasn't. It's a fellow podcaster.
Oh yeah, Yann's got an internet fling with an alien podcast. What would you describe it?
Yes,
An
yes,
alien?
but Jamie, she also has his thing with Kevin Smith on Twitter, so you never know what happens on the internet.
I mean, he's famous, but you've got a family vineyard. I mean, that's equal pegging right here.
Yep. Yeah, I was just talking about Petrus earlier because we met someone there, and now gave us, and especially my mother, just talked, and she's starting a blog. So the unique selling point is the other fact that there are not that many female in that profession. Like they actually, the whole cycle. Because in our family, her ancestors, she had like people getting the grapes to a place where they made wine, but the actual full circle is the very first time in the family, and she's I'm not sure it will be in French at first. I'll probably translate that. So
Good old
everyone,
Google Translate.
No, it's not. Make sure it's translated into something that makes sense. And on that note, we should probably go into the middle, the other.
So your okay, I need to hurry
Yeah,
up.
drink up, babe, drink up.
So your mum comes from like a long. Sorry, sometimes I forget that we're podcasting.
We're not just drinking wine and having a conversation today,
Having
I'm
a
afraid.
nice little Wednesday.
So your mum comes from a long.
I mean,
Of line
makers.
not free. No, she had no, not winemakers, but some
Wine lovers, because she's obviously
wine.
yeah.
What happened before? Some of our ancestors were wine sellers, or they had vines, but they were selling those to other people that would actually make the wine. Like it was kind of a mix. So there was no family brand
Okay, right.
until this came. Yeah.
Are they the same grapes that she's working with now?
No, she has no. The present vineyard in Tourves, which is close to Aix-en-Provence, and it's 7 kilometers away from my sister's restaurant, which we'll talk about also a bit. Le Nightfall. That's where you get the Nightfall cuvée exclusively.
So is that the most local kind of wine you can get?
Yeah, especially local. What do you mean?
Within distance to the vineyard, probably.
Is it the geographical location? Is it the closest to the restaurant, like your family's vineyard?
Oh no, because in the place where we are, competition is rude, so you have to tell stories and set you apart. But in Provence, there are more than 7,000 vineyards.
Wow.
Okay, well, fair enough.
Game on.
That's intense.
I'll try to have that where it's supposed to be next time. Okay.
I quite like as well that if you look at the glass, if you look at them side on, you can almost see like there's a shift between the color and then just the
bring your
the
glasses
lighter
to me, please. Now.
top of the touch.
We'll do Laura's first.
Yeah.
So what's the difference between the last one and this one?
So this one.
That's a
What's
big
the-
amount. Thank you.
Here's it, 'cause you are, yeah.
This one has Syrah, Grenache, and Cinsault. Entirely different varieties.
And
Okay.
this is
That was mine?
This is
That's
a
the new one?
No. I don't.
Can I have a glass, please?
No, I was asking. Is this how much you're supposed to give when you're wine tasting?
Oh no, way
Oh,
less.
no.
Way less.
Way
That's a
less.
glass. That's the glass, babe.
Yeah, this is a small glass.
So we're just doing what? Okay, all right, cool.
What?
Yeah,
Because
this
what
one
was
here,
the
yeah.
issue there?
No,
You-
no,
you
no.
just
No,
want-
she was
no,
curious. It's like
No, I
I
mean
was
it's
just wondering.
when you actually taste
it
in
like
a
a-
restaurant before they actually serve the bottle, it's way less. It's just like a touch.
does anyone else here
Or when
when
you go wine tasting,
when they
I've never actually been.
when they do that in the restaurant, there's always like a significant pressure because you don't know if it's bad, do you? Like,
Well, the thing is, I think I have worked in hospitality since I was 16. I think a lot of people don't understand that you're not asking them if they like the wine.
it's for corked, right?
Yeah, you're asking to see that the wine's still good. So a lot of people are like, that's a no. And I'm like, no.
You've bought this.
It's fine. It's also a screw cap, so it's definitely not off. But yeah, a lot of people really enjoy the milking it whilst you're standing there in a really
I'm
busy
getting- yeah,
restaurant
I'm
and being
getting
like,
hints
I
of-
know this wine is fine. Please just say yes so I
Like-
can get on with my job.
We all have this one. The
Uh,
Tamaris.
Yes, what you just poured. Yes.
Yes. Okay. This one is funny because there is a magician. Like we've seen him in Our Magic, Juan Tamaris.
Okay.
I got him a bottle once. That was not that cuvée because I wasn't that smart on that day. But cuvée de it's a plant, I think, Tamaris, right? Yeah, I think it is.
I mean, my French isn't excellent, but I think it is a plant.
Anyway, this one, 2017, because
A
the
good
author,
year.
A good year, and yeah.
We know specifically.
we used to have. So I'll try to describe that for our audio listeners. We used to have, you can see on the label there, the year here,
Okay. Yeah.
but it's very expensive, especially because of the gold foil. So now the year, so we can keep the Tamaris label for every year. That's the same package thing, and then we just get a new back ones for the year. So it's a bit cheaper.
Yeah, because that's the thing with Star Wars, that Episode 6, because Return of the Jedi, is that because it was cheaper than printing. I think it was Revenge, which is one or two letters more. So it saved George Lucas like millions upon printing because it would be on like all the merchandise.
Mm-hmm.
So he just called, I'll call it Return. We'll save a couple of million.
Wow.
I know.
okay. That's interesting.
I know.
Oh, something.
Cheers. Oh wow, that's distinctly different.
I think it's a lot softer. There's not as much.
It's not as dry as well. It's more.
It's a really easy drinking.
Yeah, it's a lot less.
Feels very clean and very easy.
It's a good job we did a whole 4 weeks of improv, isn't it?
Crazy summer day.
Yes, and it's also very, very drinkable.
Freshly mown grass.
It's not a Bertie Bott's every flavoured bean.
Metaphors. Use metaphors.
Yeah. It's like a...
It's very humid.
It's like a
child's
warm kiss on a cold night. I'm gonna challenge that. Every time we have a new one, I'm gonna come up with a new terrible simile.
Kissing analogy.
Yeah, well, kissing analogy. All right, I'll challenge myself. We'll see how this goes.
A child laughing.
I love it.
This one tastes like hopes and dreams.
Yeah, shattered hopes and dreams.
I think this tastes like smart goals.
Do you? Because I'm pretty sure that those we're tasting at the right temperature. I'm not entirely sure about the red ones because it's supposed to be between 16 and 19 degrees Celsius. So I don't know. We'll see. But
it is a warm day in Scotland today.
It has been a warm last few weeks. It's been great.
It's weird. You haven't seen that in 400 years, have you?
No.
Definitely feels that way. Yeah.
Well, me and Yann were at a local coffee shop around the corner, and as I said to Yann, it's just like you're back home, isn't it, Yann? 24 degrees, sitting outside a coffee and reading a book.
Yep, I could get used to it.
Yeah, me too.
I forgot to say, so the very first one we tried is 750 euros a bottle.
Wow, really?
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Even with minimum pricing in Scotland now.
That's what you get when you buy in the actual vineyard. And this one is 850. This one is 850 because that's all the controlled, when the champagne, you can't call your bubbly wine a champagne if it was not in the actual region.
Yeah.
This one, Syrah, Grenache, and Cinsault varieties. That's what you can have in the Côte au Varois en Provence, which is the actual name of you have Côte de Provence. This is this one. That's what you're allowed to do. So it's fixed. We had more liberty in the previous one, way more leeway on the first one.
I just bought a candle that had Grenache.
Of course, you would have a Grenache candle.
Yeah, it smells very unstated, if that's a word. Understated, yeah. That's what I meant.
Have you been back to help with the harvesting ever since you missed the first one?
I missed, I have. No, see, it's the first one I missed because that was the period I went to Tahiti, so I missed that. But and that's the very first one because now we have to press the actual grapes. We have hydraulic stuff now, but on the first one, it was actually as it was done before, with the feet.
With your feet?
Wow.
I don't think anyone would buy wine that I crush with my feet if they had seen my feet.
Hey,
Gosh,
you never know. If Mia does really well, you never know. People might pay for that.
Oh, yeah, I've heard that's a thing. I actually have a friend who's an actress who has found a bunch of pictures of her from the knees down on the website about people with foot fantasies.
Oh, bloody
yes.
hell. That's crazy.
It's an actual thing.
Yeah. Some actresses, they have Instagram accounts for their feet. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So, yeah. It's, well, it's like fetishes.
I would not be okay with that. I don't know. I hate my feet. Anyone's feet.
Some people might love your feet, and you should try and get into that.
Yeah.
That's how I got famous.
It could be a thing on Patreon. I know.
Oh my God!
Because the private Snapchat is not a thing.
For £10 a month, you get access to Anouk's feet photos.
Wow, I don't know.
God,
I don't know how I feel.
How desperate are we?
Honestly, I'd much rather give them a tit photo. I'm honestly.
It is more funny because me and Anouk had this conversation. She'd be like four glasses of wine, and she's like, "Do you think I could do a private Snapchat?" I'm like, "Babe, we're not having this conversation. We're not there yet, okay?"
Don't worry, I don't have that kind of. I don't know.
Yeah.
I would not be okay with
what
that.
What we would do, because your sister does these really artistic photos.
Arctic,
sorry.
so
artistic
She's very cold.
Very cold.
Sorry, yeah, 1 second. My sister has just shared our video, and she has a good following on Facebook, and manages the Nightfall, which is, I'll show everyone at home on the video. That's the carte, le menu.
Oh.
Looks like this. We'll talk about this, and I'll show you the actual content and see if it evokes some stuff, even though it's in French and you won't understand everything. We'll try to.
Well, that's why you're here. You can translate for us.
Yes.
What's your sister's name?
Sophie.
Bonjour, Sophie.
Bonsoir.
Thanks,
Bonsoir.
Sophie. Yeah, cheers.
Cheers.
She's probably working right now at the actual restaurant.
Super busy then.
What I was saying was your sister is known for taking arty photos of herself. So what we would just do is just have you impersonate these photos to annoy her as well. Because
very openly open.
Me and Anouk, me and Anouk
took
took photos of us like seductively eating ice cream once and just made the hashtag
trying to be
Nineveh.
And she was so angry.
She's like, take that down now.
She was like, do you know how long my friends roasted me after you put that on Instagram? And I was like, come on, it's so funny. Like every other month I'll just put myself like.
It's amazing what some people can get away with, and it's totally it's just their aesthetic, whereas I would not get away with that. My brother would have an absolute field day tearing into me. So.
Yeah, exactly. She has friends that kind of ninny. Stop it. Just roast her, but she kind of loves it.
Yeah, it's it's £1 more, £8.50. So we our prices increased slightly in the last 5 years because
it's a tough market out there.
The thing is, I don't know if it's part of the message we bring out, but that's just the truth. Or let's just go for it. It was so many things to do and to build that to actually turn any profit. 5 years ago, we would have needed to sell bottles for €400 to actually make a profit.
Wow.
Ooh.
Yeah, because it's there were rabbit cages in there where now we're doing the wine, so it was everything needed to be done again.
It's quite inspiring actually, because if it's such a big revamp to turn it into an actual working vineyard, then that's quite a feat of passion for your mum to just totally do that. You know.
Yeah, totally.
I mean, I won't spoil it because the blog will come soon, so you've got the whole story in there, and it's you don't have that many females doing that. The artist side, and she didn't. It's one of the blog posts she's we're working on. Well, she's working on mostly, 100% basically. It wasn't because she was a wine addict that this happened. She saw those vines dying, and she just fell in love with the vines. So she needed to save that whole thing, and so it's more the actual living vine grapes that she fell in love with, and now it's being recognized more and more into those wines which are properly priced by our analog. So it took. We finally increased a bit, but not that much actually. But we're not really into that, label drinkers.
Yeah.
Even if we won a lottery, we would not get one of those £13,000 bottle at Petrus. We're not getting into it. It's like method acting, which
I feel it's too much pressure. Like, say you buy a £13,000 bottle of wine. What if you have a sip of that and you go, I don't like that? Well, that's just too much pressure to be like. Although if you buy that bottle, you probably it doesn't matter. It's like buying a bottle of Echo Falls.
If Jay-Z buys that bottle, that's probably something that he gets in an hour. Like, it's not gonna break the bank. Like, people that are buying that aren't going to be buying it because they care about money. It's
at that level, 13,000. It's still reasonable. I mean, it's you would drink that, but the thing in the year of the comet, the 1 million. That's the bottle. You just have it because you have it, and it's prestigious, but you won't ever open it. It's like that stuff because you'll probably be disappointed, and it's not. Now it's just like an art object. It's not something that you're not supposed to be drinking.
I actually have a story about this. So my boyfriend Thomas does not drink, which is very boring and also makes me feel like an alcoholic when I have one glass of wine a week. But he happened to have in his possession a very rare 1994 bottle of Veuve Clicquot, La Grande Dame, which I did a quick Google and was in the region of about £1,000 to buy off the internet, which for us is a very expensive bottle of champagne. And he just kind of said to me, you can have it. And I was like, no, like you should try and sell this. If you're not going to drink it, make your money back, whatever. I did a bit of research. My manager also owns a wine bar. So I was asking her, like, is it something that I can sell? Do you know the people to contact? And she said, how long has he had it? And I said, well, I don't know, about 8 years. And she was like, just open it and drink it, because the chances of it being off or like unsellable, especially if it's not being kept in the right conditions, are really high. So best case scenario, you get to enjoy this bottle of wine. Worst case scenario, it's off, but that's it. So I was like, okay. So we had like a family dinner. I took it along, had it all chilled and opened it. Oh my gosh, was this the nicest bottle of champagne I've ever tasted in my life? But I think it definitely was at the point where it wouldn't have been in prime condition. It was definitely a lot more alcoholic than it should have been.
Yeah.
After about half a glass, all of us were a bit, ooh. But yeah, oh my gosh, delicious. And it was such a nice thing to try.
The aging curve of, because it's white champagne, right? So it's just white wine that you add bubbles and, anyway. The red ones that's the wines that... the one I have, because I said, why not try another one in here today? It's a 10-year thingy, so it's supposed to be, the peak is supposed to be, so the year is 2010, and it should start to decline next year. So it's good that we're actually trying bits today. But yeah, they all have... an age, and it can go very far if you change the cork every 30 years. Can go very far. Yeah, that's the thing that is done, changing the cork.
So in the film, he goes back to. So, right, we'll talk about the film briefly while Yann opens the bottle of wine. This is how we do it. When Yann's opening wines, we'll discuss the movie.
Yeah, that's the white now.
Russell Crowe plays a stock market trader.
Max Skinner.
Hello, lab rats.
That's very true. Who he grew up as is it implied he grew up there, or did he spend a lot of time with his uncle who owns the vineyard that?
Yeah, well, they haven't spoken to each other in like 10 years, right?
So he travels back, and it's like, right, okay, he's left the will. There's no will, so we have to go and sell. He wants to go and sell the land because he lives in London and everything. If you're a Londoner, the rest of the world doesn't exist. It's just London. Anouk, you tell me.
Yeah,
is that true? You're like,
very true.
I know you have friends that like. So you're in Scotland. Why?
Yeah, very true. Or they're like, so Edinburgh. It's like, you know how big Scotland is.
I'm going to excuse myself briefly to use your facilities because I am a lightweight when it comes to wine.
Yeah.
No worries. No worries.
We'll just try to fill the.
Don't worry, Yann will pour the glasses.
So this is that's right. That's either we this year we had a double thingy. We had our first red medals ever. We used to have silver ones or no medals, but yeah. So that's the Cuvée de Claire. So that's, my mum is called Claire, and she is really fond of her wine, obviously, but white. She loves white, so that's what it's called. That and the sweet white, which bottle is coming next. We'll do the red afterwards, and at the end we'll have the sweet red, the sweet white, called the Trésor de Claire, like Claire's treasure.
Ah, very nice.
Yes. Okay.
So what I was saying is that in the film, he goes back to the vineyard, and he's like, he hasn't been there since he's a kid, so he's like, oh, the wine's going to be amazing, because immediately you assume if you own a vineyard, every wine is amazing. And he gets there and he drinks it, and every scene in the film, they spit it out. So Yann, is that because the wine is not good, or is it because it's corked, because it's not been looked after, do you think, in the film?
I think No, not necessarily corked because
Because
I think it's just not good. They just didn't really. They probably when they harvested used a machine which gets all the leaves and the tree branches and everything. That's one thing when you use a machine to harvest. You got everything like animals, kind of weird random stuff in that also.
So it's just not good as opposed to corked.
Yeah, I think. My sister says hi.
Bonjour.
So does my mum, I think.
Hey.
Yeah. So okay, I'll try to get that sound on the mic now. Oh, just be aware that I don't
Punch
kill
you in
you.
the face.
Yeah. Okay, I'll start.
I'll start. Yeah, here we go.
Oh. So I was explaining Cuvée de Claire. My mum's name is Claire. That's her favorite.
Oh,
Yeah.
so
Why?
sweet.
Yeah. Okay. May I have your glasses, please?
Oh.
It's weird. All right.
It's very big glasses, yeah. Jesus.
Maybe just
The Continentals.
pass that one to Adam. Whose glass was that? This is mine.
I think that was yours.
Okay. I'll maybe have a smaller
no
amount
worries.
than that.
Yeah.
I have rehearsals in the morning. You're not going to be a fan of me for this.
We also, yeah.
That's good. That's
Yeah.
good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Are we good?
Yes.
Oh, we are. Cuvée de Claire, 2 years ago, 2016. Oh, this one, and I think, starting, I think 2000 and, I don't want to say crap, but I think starting 2016, or 2 years before, we started to have organic, because it's always been organic. My mum doesn't add any random weird stuff, but there is a 3 years conversion time that is mandatory.
Well, that lingers with you. It's got a lingering taste to
It's
it.
got the oaky finish.
Mm.
I'm also getting some passion fruit.
It's very
Anyway.
spicy. Like the smell is really. It's like.
Oh, me too.
Spicy.
Yes.
Do you get that feeling?
You can feel this was in oak barrels. I think you can feel the because I actually I discovered, I think, and I talked to you about that privately a while ago, Laura, the Thistle Cross elderflower.
Yes.
I tried a few days ago the whiskey cask version, and you can clearly feel the whiskey cask.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I can do a visual representation of we're talking about casks. It's behind Yann, so 2 seconds.
Mm.
Oh yeah, I have kind of an obsession with my gins from Eden Mill.
Oh, that's
Eden Mill gin, yes. Love it.
That's what my mum was saying. You'll probably be completely smashed before you're done.
Yes.
And my sister is eager to welcome all of us at the restaurant when because we will be doing a road trip at some point.
I'd love that.
So on the table right now are Eden Mill, who are a gin distillery. They do whiskies as well.
I had no idea. Wow.
They're really good. So this is number one. They do it in sort of batch numbers, which and they've all got kind of an oak cast. They've all got an oak finish. So that's just a regular one. I got this for my 20th, I think, 21st. So I've had this a good while. So I'm just about to finish that. If anyone wants to try, I'll have a glass available. But
I think there's maybe enough alcohol on the table right now.
But it's also nice because because this one it's the same sort of thing, but it's with in the barrel with port as well. So it's got a port
I
finish.
guess you can smell them.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting that a lot of whiskey places, like, is it Bruichladdich that make Caroon?
I think so, yeah.
I think it's some connection. But gin typically is an English thing because it was really easy to mask how poorly made it was because you just keep shoving in botanicals and eventually you'll end up with something that's okay. Whereas in Scotland and Ireland, where there's generations back and a heritage of making really fine whiskey, we didn't bother with gin because we were like, we're going to focus on some like really good quality spirits.
Yeah.
Whereas gin is that typical, I'm going to make it in my bathtub with whatever fits. And now it's really interesting, I think, that Scottish gin is really becoming the premium for what's out there.
Yeah.
Because these whiskey brands and like people with the real knowledge are thinking, okay, well, now that it's a big thing, we can actually make some decent quality stuff. So
yeah, so
That's really
they're all in
interesting.
oak barrels, but this is an export oak barrel. So that's quite interesting to like finish it off.
Beware of your name.
I will do. And then this one is now in what used to, so they're all kept in oak barrels, but they were obviously used for other things to give it an extra finish.
when you say export, you don't mean export, you mean
export
wine.
Port, yes, as in
Port.
the drink port, not as an
okay.
export. So this one is in a bourbon, an old, I'll say old just to make it easier, in an old bourbon barrel, so they left a batch. And then this one was in an old port, hence the different in colours.
Yeah.
I will say, these are the type of, they're reasonable. I think they're between 40 and 60, so they're a reasonable price for a decent whiskey. And I've tried this one with, like, as a mixer, which is excellent. I can't do it with this one because this one is just too good on its own. I just have to drink it straight. Hence why it's taking me forever, because it is very, very strong. I mean,
intense.
you think this is a 40. You've had this before, Anouk, and it blows your head off. That's 43%.
Yeah, I'll have like a sip and I'll be done. Like,
this
I'll
one
be
is
like, oh god, can't.
51 is the other one.
What, degrees? What?
Degrees?
Not degrees.
Percent.
Percent
Ah, okay.
alcohol percent.
Oh yeah,
really
that's what I
hot.
meant. Oh
Yeah.
wait, it's in degrees in France.
Is it?
That would
Yeah.
be 10
Well, percent. That's the
Two
same.
proof?
Wow.
double.
Okay. Oh.
That's intense. Yes,
So-
you can have one glass and then
Two smalls if you're lucky, but
yeah.
they're very
Maybe
good.
not if you're doing something the next day.
So the cork for this one is also synthetic, but it's a replica. It looks a bit like a cork.
Mm-hmm.
This one is 80% Vermentino and 20 Uniblanc.
What does that mean?
That's the varieties.
The grape.
Oh.
Yeah.
Anouk's gonna have, when we go and visit Yann's family in the vineyard, Anouk's gonna have like loads of like pieces of notes, like this is this variety.
Little taste cards.
So So the guy who is taking care, the French guy who is taking care of all the vines in the movie there, he's called Didier Bourdon. He's part of a trio of hugely successful comics in the 80s. It was kind of the French Monty Python, but less absurd.
Right.
And they all transitioned to acting. And it's always nice to see them in actual movies doing stuff. Yeah.
It's interesting because I found out that the main set for this film was 8 minutes away from Ridley Scott's house.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Where was that?
In Provence, because
I see. Okay.
so the whole thing, Ridley Scott loved the living there as well. So he's like, I quite like to show it off. So
That maybe explains why he made the film. It seems not at all like a Ridley Scott film.
yeah, no, it doesn't at all.
I think he had a pal, and they enjoyed wine, and they wanted to do. It was not a corporate thingy. They just wanted to do a movie about wine. I think it's a speculative script. There was no previous thing. It's just out of a bet from two friends, I guess.
It definitely feels like studio interference, which is nice because we've been seeing all these big budget Marvel, and we've just seen Deadpool and all these like very corporate-y films. I mean, it is nice to see a film that doesn't have any case of real interference, I think.
I think as well the difference between like the scenes in London and the scenes in Provence are like very different. And there's definitely, it's like that kind of blue light. It's like light blue that you always reference to like kind of office buildings.
Yes,
It's like very harsh light, and that was kind of, and like grey and
Fluorescent
stony
lighting.
and it's like which has like a blue hint to it, but it's very steely.
When I was-
And then with like when they go to Provence, it's like yellow and sun and pretty girls and.
When I was watching this film, I was thinking a lot about "Call Me by Your Name," because obviously the whole being outside and this almost a summery vibe.
Yeah, it's a very ode to Mediterranean summer.
Yeah,
just that whole essence of being in love and the wine and the food and the smell of the ocean.
The outside world doesn't really exist. It's just you in this lovely place, really.
I mean, because the other choices were Year of a Comet, which was kind of a romancing the stone.
That film was fucking ridiculous.
I loved it.
Bottle Shock, which was kind of a rivalry between California wines and French wines with Alan Rickman, which was funny but wasn't right for this. And a kind of a buddy comedy, the guy was divorcing, which is the highest rated on Rotten Tomatoes. I don't remember the title, but with Paul Giamatti, which I also watched, but it wasn't really in the spirit of what we're trying to achieve at the Vineyard with my mum. So yeah, Good Year was actually the only one I watched ever before. Anyway,
There's definitely a connection then with your mum and the film, because obviously, what's his name? Didier Bourdon.
Yes. Yes.
Nailed it.
Didier Bourdon. He kind of has this love for the vines and making wine, and it's not about money, it's about what you're making.
The passion.
Yeah.
I mean, it usually is, except if you're Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt and buy whatever you have for 30 million and just make sure that it produces wine. My mom, she's just made out of thin air. She just makes sure that there is this thing that is now a brand that I'm trying to lobby. In all circles, it's clearer in the magical circles. But it's in terms of acting, is that I would prefer when Paul Wilson looks at me that he would have we'll cast him into that rather than wine. But no, I've been doing some lobbying, so the wine is not as that level that what's the Beats. That the guy just put those in all the celebrities' ears, and now it's massive. Even though it's clear to everyone who knows about music, that's the crappiest kind of headphones you can have in the world. Beats.
Yeah, they're not great.
Are they?
Dre's by
really?
Dr. Dre.
Dre's by Dr. Dre.
Dre by Dre.
Beats
by Dr. Dre.
But I mean,
that's the brand, really, now.
Yeah, but he had the whole thing that he was famous before he made them, so that would help.
Yeah.
I
just checked on Rotten Tomatoes. So this film is critically panned, but with an audience, it's kind of in the middle. It's like a 63% audience to a 25% critical.
I feel like it's one of these films that, now that it's obviously been out for over 10 years, you wouldn't ever choose to put on. You would never go searching for it. But, if it came on BBC Two, Channel 4...
ITV on a Sunday.
Like, okay. And you'd stick with it and you'd actually quite enjoy it. And at the end of it, you would say, I watched this quite good film.
Yeah.
But it's not life-changing. The script isn't fantastic. It doesn't accomplish a lot as a piece of writing doesn't do anyone favours in acting, but it's a nice film.
Now, speaking of accredited, the EDA gave it the Hall of Shame, and it's quite interesting. The EDA it's basically it's awards for like women, so they have categories like feature films with a female protagonist, and it's like different awards. So that's quite interesting. But I'm also very curious to go, okay, they gave this film the Hall of Shame, so I went and looked at like their other Hall of Shame. So like Mel Gibson's in there. And like Norbert. So it just seems like poor films that don't really represent women. And I went and looked at that. I'm like, right. And then I thought, I'm like, yeah, no women are really in any vital role in this film. This one doesn't pass the
Bechdel test.
The Bechdel test. And this doesn't pass that.
No. To be fair, though, I have to say that I think any film which features any man or actor, Russell Crowe being one of those men, that's ever had a personal issue with something to do with abuse or divorce,
That's
and
very true.
you're not going to support that, like, regardless if it's his best performance, regardless if the film is great, like, it's always going to fail these tests because you can't get beyond that.
I'm looking forward.
You're a bit of a dick.
I'm looking forward to Mel Gibson and Russell Crowe producing Little Women.
Well,
what is that a thing?
No,
Okay.
of course it's not. I would love that.
there is a minister in the UK who was tried to have Detroit shut down because of the Todd Alice relationship.
Really?
Yeah. Well, there's a huge outrage on those.
We live in a time where people get outraged by everything. I mean, look at
Rosenbach.
Yes, I suppose.
She was actually quite racist, though, to be fair.
Yeah.
A little bit. A little bit.
I'm trying to think.
You can't call a black person an ape. Like,
oh, no. What?
That's not, like, just even if it's a joke, you can't, you just can't do that. There are certain things you just can't do.
I mean, Twitter is full of trolls also, so I just stopped. I didn't deactivate my accounts because we're streaming on Periscope, which is on Twitter, so we have this stuff. But I stopped going there because it's just a shit show. It's just okay. I don't need that stuff in my life.
I think it's more amusing because we're like a generation later from like. So there are people that are coming into Twitter now that are, and it's becoming a new thing because obviously I think with all these things they kind of go with the younger generation that's there because obviously they're going to use the platform more because they're not less likely to leave. I think that's kind of why Facebook in the world and now is like they'll sell you ads on everything because they know they're kind of like fading out because we were really the age that had Facebook, like MySpace before us, but Twitter right now is kind of becoming people that are in high school now moving into that. So
yeah, it's interesting you say that because Twitter became a thing when I was still in school. I think I was in third year, so about 9 years ago. Mm-hmm. But I only made a Twitter for myself about a week ago.
Yeah.
And it's interesting that because for years I have like battled against it. I'm like, why would anyone be interested in what I'm doing with my daily life? But it kind of just seemed like a necessity, especially as an actor, to like be there and have a presence and be involved in that. And in a sense, I hate that, but it's also like this is where the world is at this point. I mean, in the MySpace and the Bebo days, like you never thought that Facebook was going to take off, but it has. It's just become we live with these black screens on our phones and in our houses, and it's who we are now. So you kind of either have to embrace it or you become that like grandparent that's like, in my day we used to play games and talk to each other.
Well, I had this weird thing where I really wanted to like stop social media because I have this really bad thing about like comparing my life to social media lives. And obviously if you do that your life is so much shitter than everyone else's because obviously you're only seeing the best of people's lives. But I have this horrible habit of like, oh, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
So I was like, I need to get out of that because that's just totally making my depression and anxiety horrible. But then I realized that I can't because my job is pretty much
to do
online.
that is to promote yourself. Yeah.
Speaking of which, did you guys see that whole? There's a play that's out now that the main actress was cast because she had a massive Twitter following. And
oh my gosh, yes.
It's
a
shambles apparently. It's like 2-star reviews, like it's a whole terrible idea. Because the hope was that they made it relatable to younger people because they know this person. Like it'd be like casting like Zoella in something like in a film. Like Zoella.
That is what it is, and it is. Oh, it's this whole backwards thing about. Is that okay? Like, are we just not progressing with the times? Or, I mean, I have a young niece, and my cousin's child, and I said to her, like, oh, like, what do you want to be when you grow up? What do you want to do? She was like, I want to be a YouTube star. And I'm
that's
like,
crazy.
Oh, that's not a thing.
Yeah,
just like dab on them haters, bro.
Yeah, I mean, and even it's because now, well, that's the new version, but it was at some point actors when. You think about it, doctors and firemen, and that's the thing. I mean, you always have to think like if there was a zombie apocalypse, coming. I'm pretty sure that the actors and performers will probably either clean the toilets, whereas the military will make sure that everyone is safe.
I like the idea that, you know, the analogy that's like there's somebody has a heart attack in the plane. It's like, is there a doctor on this plane, right? And they do that, and then you get people standing up and shouting out what they are, right? So you take it from my time, it's like, is there a doctor on this plane? No, but I'm a YouTube vlogger. Let me film this. I'll get loads of views. Like stuff like that. Just like, this is ridiculous where we are now.
I might just get some water for everyone, just because
we're all getting quite tipsy.
That's like
yeah, go for it. Go
3
for it.
glasses
Yeah.
in. I think we should probably.
I've been generous on the pouring.
Yes, you have.
You have been.
It's actually interesting that you say that. I've been on a plane that had a medical emergency, and they did the whole. If anyone on board is a medical professional, please alert yourself to like the nearest member of staff. And I was like, wow, this is like a real thing that happens. My gosh. And there was a guy in the seat behind me who was like, kind of seemed really agitated and was kind of like, oh, should I say something? Should I not? And he put out a second call, like, if you're a medical professional, please alert yourself to the nearest member of staff. And the guy was a vet, and he was like, yeah, like, I am a vet. I'm a veterinary surgeon. And that was it. Like, he is the most qualified medical professional, and you have to legally state that, which I had no idea about. Like, you are there to save someone's life, even though that you save horses and dogs
like,
in your
let me
daily
see
life.
the patient. Where are their hooves?
Yeah.
I see the problem here. They've not got any fur.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Yeah. Next, so we are going to actually try the Coravin now.
Oh, there.
Yes, I'm waiting on Anouk to come back.
Yann went for the extra little bit, which makes it look like a tap on the top. Am I correct? The nozzle on the top.
That's the I don't know how you pronounce. So when you have reds, you're supposed to have them in kind of a carafe, like to make sure that the air is
aerated.
Yes, aerated. So
Good
that's
job
an
you're here, Laura.
aerator. That's an aerator.
Mm-hmm.
An aerator.
Yeah, so it will look a bit like if you were with a faulty tap thingy. Like you'll see that in a minute. It's a bit weird, but yeah, it's.
I have to say, if I were to guess what this was outside of this context, I would definitely go along the lines of tattoo gun or airbrushing.
Yeah.
I would
Like for spraying a wall, sort of like as
absolutely.
for graffiti, is it not graffiti? Like paint and stuff. Yeah.
That's a £70 option. This little thingy there. Yeah. Yeah. It's either this or you have a full thing and you have to wait 10 minutes until the red just is at its full. Yeah, but
So do you know the science? Can you explain the process?
the signs. What do you mean?
Like
Yann,
how
the
does it
science
work?
guy.
Yeah, well, there's a capsule of argon gas which will actually. Oh wait, Anouk is back. There is a needle, so you put the needle in there.
Mm-hmm.
So as the cork is kind of auto-mending, you put that in there, and it puts the pressure of the gas makes it that you can actually pour the stuff that is in the bottle. And once you're done, the cork is still in there, but it's mended already when we remove the wine is gone. The one that you used is gone.
A magic trick.
Yes, yes.
Jan, is this yours?
Probably I haven't checked.
that is Yann's. Yeah.
Can I use this for you?
Okay.
It's like a 4-liter tank.
Yes. Just make sure it's. Let me watch.
Okay, I'll move that out of the way as well.
Yeah, cool.
What are
Awesome.
they? It's a German word, so I should know this.
Stein
Stein, that's it.
for liter, right?
Is it?
I don't
Okay.
know, but it is the measurement. It's a liter. For the actual what the glass measurement is.
So we probably have our red glasses ready because I'm about to try this thing.
This will either look really cool. Actually, I might film this on a separate thing, and then
So what?
I'll do it via the Instagram on our thing, just so it looks cool. Oh, there's our friend on holiday.
Oh, Jenny.
Jenny.
So that's the needle. Okay. I'm pretty sure that's like this. Okay. Are you filming or?
You're now live on the Good and the Bad and the Just Plain Standard Instagram, Yann.
Okay, let's try this.
So for people, no, for the Instagram, Yann is currently setting up his fancy
Let's try this.
wine pouring device.
Oh wow! So it looks just like a fire like extinguisher hydrant. Yeah, is that right?
I don't.
I've had too many glasses of wine.
Hydrant, I think. Fire hydrant.
Okay. Not entirely sure. Whoa.
Control your load, man.
Okay. Next one, please.
Adam. For me?
Yeah.
For Elle.
Yes. For
So
her.
do people on set call you Elle?
It's interesting because, yes, when I started working on Mia, I didn't know anyone. So I introduced myself as Elle because that's what I need to be credited as. That's my spotlight name. And that's how they knew me. And then it wasn't until the very last day on set when someone was like, oh, we'll add you on Facebook and tag you in the promotional stuff. And I was like, yeah, well, my name's Laura. Like, that's my real name. I had to change it. And they were like, oh, that's so weird. Like, Laura doesn't suit you. Like, that's so strange. And I was like, well, yeah, that's my name. And it's strange to have a different set of people who don't know me as Laura and know me as Elle. But then, for example, the play I'm working on right now, I happen to know the producer from outside, like, work circumstances.
Oh.
And it's weird to go into an audition room having signed up as Elle and having gone there as this persona of Elle, my Sasha Fierce. And then them kind of knowing this reverse of you and this, I am Laura and I am Elle and I am both. But yeah, it is strange. I'm happy to kind of have them coexist as one. I mean, the reason I chose Elle is because my initials are LW and Elle also happens to be a name. So in that kind of tween phase when you were calling each other nicknames, Gossip Girl was a really big thing for us. And they call each other B and S, like Blair and Serena, Queen B and S. And so me and my friends would like try and call each other like L and R. And it was like really cool at the time. So Elle kind of just seemed like a kind of cheeky wink to that. But it's not as strange to me. I don't feel like it's a different person. It's enough of myself.
It really...
Oh no!
Adam, did you steal my wine?
I'm trying to see which one's got the least for you.
Thank you.
I'm seeing if the one coming back is less than that. It might be.
You're so kind.
Let's see.
You have...
I think.
It also really suits you.
You're very right.
Have I already said
I think that one is less.
There was also that thing that Patrick Tucker told us about how it seems like the best names are one syllable followed by two syllables or two syllables followed by one syllable. And I love how Anouk's just like, nope, I'm going to be Anouk Aslam Wulfing.
Anouk Wulfing is my...
Just Anouk Wulfing. I like the Aslam.
I don't know. I was thinking that like, I don't know. Maybe I'll change it. I don't know.
So this one is, so you know, the Alicante thingy I talked about a few times. Let me get the technical thingy. So
sorry, I was just thinking it was really long, too long, to have like a
Anouk Aslam Wulfing. It is, but also it's a power name, isn't it? It's a power play, that name. Like Benedict Cumberbatch, you're not a wee wallflower. You're like, yep, this is my name. Spell it all. Yeah. Spell it right. Yeah. I am here.
I mean, on huge billboards, you have to have a certain number of letters, or if it's too much, you can't.
I'm so glad I've kept my real name because I really want them to be like, you know how they sometimes just put the first initial then your last name. It's like, yes, so I kept Adam Dick. I kept Adam Dick just in case one day it's like starring A Dick. I'm like, yep, that's me.
But do you ever get that way when you're watching the credits roll and you're like, oh, let's say the funny names, and you just like read out the ones that catch your eye? Like Elle Watson and Adam Dick, they would kind of just fly by, but like Anouk Aslam Wulfing, like everyone would read that one.
Yeah.
I always get in the, because there is a guy who's called Chiwetel Ejiofor, and didn't change his name, and I most of the time in recent month get from Uber drivers or taxis, oh, you're from Greece, aren't you? Nope. It's like Sicamois. No.
Sicamois.
So this one is 50% of this one is made of Alicante. That's the So that's where the artistic, like the painting side, blends with the wine. Cuvée Soleil Rouge, so that's Red Sun. That's one of the paintings that my mother did. That's the one I actually chose to have for me, which is the 2013. So that's all the reds will be a bit older.
That's very good.
It's really good, isn't it?
That's really good.
50% of that is Alicante, which is a variety which was entirely removed from Provence many years ago because it was used to color reds that weren't red enough. But when Syrah came, that's what it sometimes was used for, so there was no need anymore for the Alicante variety, which sounds a bit like a Spanish, like Alicante, but it's actually an old French Provence variety. We kept like the leaves are like blood red, and the actual grapes you would like. If you actually at the harvest, it would stay on your hands for a few days, even after you're done with the actual harvest. So 50% of that wine is with that, which is quite rare because it's, I think, really been removed from the whole of Provence.
I mean, that's a winner right there.
It's lovely.
It's very popular.
It's got a really like fruitiness to it. I'm almost getting like strawberry or banana.
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 Banana?
Banana, hey.
Canada, you're on fire today.
Yeah, I'm doing really well. then you've added, usually on the podcast, I'm the one that always mispronounces everything, and then you add drink into the equation. I'm like, right, there we go.
So, Yann, did you say what the other 50% was?
Let me get to that. Wait. Soleil Rouge. No, I didn't actually.
I'll probably
again, good job Laura's here.
I'll probably be slapped by every like wine connoisseur, but like it really reminds me of chorizo.
Do you think? Well, see, I was drinking it and thinking, I don't think I've tasted a red wine like this, which is why I'm curious as to what the other grapes are, because I don't think I've had an Alicante before.
Alicante is 50.
That's right, yeah.
Carignan 25 and Grenache 25.
Okay, well, yeah. I mean, I've had Grenache before, but it tastes very different. It manages to have a really dry finish, but still being. It's not a dry taste. It's like
no, it doesn't see. It's like it's not intense, but then it has that like spicy, dry.
It's
end.
super
Yeah,
smooth
right.
as well. It's like a little crispy at the end.
Yeah,
it's funny because you'll see with the other one. I haven't really tasted the Nightfall, which is
so good, isn't it?
so
brand new. But the other one, the second gold medal, which is the protected thingy again, which comes right afterwards, it is completely different.
How many glasses of wine have we had in this episode? 4, right?
3,
7.
7?
Had a whole bottle.
I mean, I've not really had a lot to eat today. I think I ate
I've had
about
like
half a packet of nuts. So this is going straight to my head.
Rolling it a Laura out in a wheelbarrow at the end of the episode.
Yeah, but the good thing about it is I feel like a proper wine connoisseur. So
When I was just setting 2 weeks ago in Provence, I went to this Sexy Fish. Have you ever been to Sexy Fish?
do you know, I've heard of it and I have no idea where I'm hearing it from. Is it from London?
Yes.
I always love whenever Yann says, "Oh, I'm here in London," and it goes, "Oh, Yann's at Sexy Fish." I'm like, "What's Sexy Fish?"
Does she say it in that really Scottish accent though?
Hang on, let me try.
Sexy Fish.
Hang on, let me give it a go. What? He's got a Sexy Fish? I can't believe it.
And it's funny because it was the last minute thingy. Because we didn't... Okay, we have something close. We have to find something. And we found this. And it's funny because they have beluga caviar, which could easily, if you take the... that's what I'm showing to the camera right now. That's 15 grams. That was something like 120 quid.
Yep.
If you take the bigger version, it can amount to as much as the 1-star Michelin restaurant we went, the Petrus one I talked about. So I was like, oh, okay, that Sexy Fish is some serious stuff.
I know that whole cliche of like rich people just eating caviar is like it's not a joke. Like
No, it really
caviar is
isn't.
very expensive.
I do think Laura mentioned like Anouk doesn't say it in a Scottish accent. Anouk does a pretty good Scottish accent now.
No, I don't.
You do, and you've also had 4 glasses of wine, so you're actually at that stage to be able to do it.
No, I don't. I'm not going to do Scottish.
So
Say look at the cookbook in your best Scottish accent.
Look at the cookbook.
Oh wow, that was terrible.
I
I
actually have.
go like
I
slightly
actually
bawdy.
have a recording of Anouk.
I just
saying
have
it,
this like
reading a tweet. I'll let Laura hear it after the episode.
You're right, mate. That's my best.
Right.
Okay, I think the best Scottish word, and even I don't say it this way because I don't know what my accent is, but girl.
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 I think I would say girl, but
Girl.
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 Gavel.
Silly
Girl.
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 Squirrel and girl.
Squirrel.
They're the same words
Like-
in Glasgow.
Emma would say girl.
Girl. Yeah, girl.
Girl.
It's fascinating. I love actually like gaddle, gaddle,
Girl.
gaddle, gaddle,
Girl.
gaddle.
Oh wow, this sounds horrible.
Sorry, audio
It does
listeners.
sound horrible.
Really?
No,
But
does
that's
it?
the thing, like it sounds so nice when you guys say it.
Do you think?
and girl.
I think
I would
it's
say girl. I would go girl.
girl. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's one of these words that really grates on me.
My thing is that Scottish people usually are very good at when you have an R in the middle of a word. They're very good at rolling it, but not like grrr. Like it's very subtle.
It's not prominent now.
Yeah, and that's really hard for like an English person to not roll their R's so
Okay, so say Toblerone.
as in a Scottish accent.
No, just in your accent.
Toblerone.
You
I
say
know Toblerone.
Toblerone.
Toblerone. Do you know how Anouk would say it if she was in a Scottish accent? She would go like this. Toblerone.
Just because you've got a Scottish accent doesn't mean that you become dumb.
The family harm.
Toblerone.
No, seriously. Anouk speaks really, really slowly as a Scottish person when she does a Scottish accent.
It's because I'm trying to do it. Like it's really hard for me.
They've eaten the family harm.
Harm.
I'll let Laura hear the video of you doing it. It was phenomenal. You were like 6 glasses of wine in. You're like,
That
gotta go.
that was spot on. Yeah, but that's this story about me in Iceland. The very first week I was in Glasgow, I must have felt like a.
Wait a minute. You mean the shop?
Yes.
I was like, Yann's
Iceland.
been to Iceland? He's never told us.
No, I haven't. My brother went there for photographic purposes, but no. Here, I was trying to identify what was the, the prices of the shops and stuff. So the price of life and stuff. So at one point, I was in Iceland. I was like jotting down prices and everything, and I was there was a guy like looking at me. He said, "No, I'm just not like trying to locate cameras. So I'm just I try the prices and stuff." And the guy talked like that was pure Glaswegian because I only understood in his 1 minute tirade. I understood cheaper than Tesco. That's the only thing I understood in the whole thing.
That's all you need to take away from that, though.
Yann's like,
He is right.
Tesco. Right. Tesco. Iceland, Iceland and farm foods are like pretty cheap, really. I don't know. I've never really shopped in Iceland. Ever, I don't think.
Oh, I'm too good for Iceland.
Hey, Lidl's all the way, man.
I do love a little.
Lidl is like really near where we live right now, and it's like phenomenal.
Their pastry section is great.
Oh, it's unbelievable.
It's unbelievable.
Good
This
something.
episode brought to you by Lidl.
Lidl's, they're unbelievable.
We're having fun. Oh,
Hey, Yann, your wine is unbelievable.
Yeah, it was. Luckily, all the technical side is taking care of itself, so I can just like enjoy and.
I wish your mum was still here so she could absolutely put on the website it's better than Echo Falls. Elle Watson.
I mean, that's a comment.
That's high praise.
That's
in Scotland.
testimony.
Echo Falls is the drink of choice for many Scottish wine drinkers.
That's
to
always
begin with.
what you look for in testimonials and 5 stars and.
Better than this.
I don't know. Did you see our network episode?
And no, I didn't.
That was we went. So I like to keep stuff secret from those guys.
Yeah, he does, doesn't he?
And I went to the Olivier Awards.
Oh, fab.
Yeah, that was quite cool and quite happy to. I'm not sure I have a point to the story, but to see
just boasting.
Yeah. To see Bryan Cranston and he won, which was fabulous because
That was so good.
I thought Andrew Garfield
He was
was
great.
Was awesome. Yes, was just
And
incredible.
also Moriarty.
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
Andrew Scott.
Andrew Scott.
Yes,
yeah,
we-
a great actor.
Did you? We will. His Hamlet on BBC Two is gone now, but it probably, as it was broadcasted and recorded, be on DVD, and we'll get that, and we'll talk about it either here or on our Wooden O podcast. I'm not sure.
Oh yeah, the
I've-
Wooden O thing. Yeah.
I only saw Andrew Scott's To Be or Not to Be speech, but I thought I'd never seen Hamlet done like that. Like it was, I don't know, there was something very raw about it, and it felt like he spoke like that. And I think there's so many kind of Shakespearean pieces that it's like, oh, I'm doing Shakespeare now. And so it was quite nice to see him just embody the language like it should be spoken.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think
So-
there has to be credit as well when something like Hamlet, you can do your own spin in it. Like to
Yeah.
do that itself, there's so much pressure, and there's like as an actor, it's so hard when you know everyone that's came before you and they tell you like never look at past performances and never look at the other actors and whatever. But with something as esteemed as Hamlet, I mean, you can't be naive to that. You know about
Yeah.
it, and so any decision to do something different has to be applauded in the fact that it worked out well. Like it's an achievement in itself.
Yeah.
They always refer to it as your Hamlet. Like
Yeah.
they always say your name. It's like, oh, you remember David Tennant's Hamlet, or do you remember all these other names?
Just
You
like
know?
your doctor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it can either be followed with a
Yeah.
or a so
Don't know what he was doing
Yeah, I mean,
there.
I've been obsessed with Hamlet since 1996, the Kenneth Branagh version. That's why I wanted to be involved in that profession
Isn't
in
that-
some way.
Who was it that said the same thing? There was somebody else that said. kinda-
Charles talked about Henry V.
oh yeah, he
that-
did. Yeah.
Yeah, in the Ogja episode.
Underrated episode. Go and listen to it.
Yeah, two times TED talker, Charles Jong.
Phenomenal artist. Phenomenal. He's a hyper realism artist.
wow.
It's unreal
insane.
some of his stuff.
It's also a great film, a really weird, interesting film.
Yeah, it is,
yeah,
isn't it?
yeah, I brought him in because he's from South Korea, and I met him through Hamlet. Actually, when I went to see there, I helped finance the play a few years back. But yeah, you never know. I mean, I know it so well that I was able for the first time in my life to talk with the director and knowing what I was talking about. Like, okay, so usually it's rapier and dagger is his weapons, but you went with just dagger this time. Why? Yeah, well, we didn't have the budget to have two weapons, so we shortened the lines. Nice. I mean, like, so I'm really.
That's great.
I'm more obsessed with Hamlet than I am with gingers, probably.
Oh God.
That's quite a statement.
What if it was a ginger Hamlet? You'd be all over that.
Oh, like what's his name?
Let's wait for Rupert Grint's Hamlet.
No, I'm sure. Oh, I can't remember his name. He was in. I know I can't remember anything. I had too many glasses of wine. That War 10-episode miniseries.
Damian Lewis.
Damian Lewis, thank you. Did he not do
Homeland.
Hamlet?
Billions.
I don't know.
Has he not done Hamlet? I
If
feel
he
like
hasn't,
he has
he-
done
he-
Hamlet.
Homeland.
At some point.
I don't
If
know.
Damian Lewis hasn't done a Hamlet, he needs
No?
to do a Hamlet.
I have
Yeah.
no.
I would
I
watch that.
have no idea if he does
I'll find
stage.
out.
Yeah, we
I don't
can.
know.
Yeah.
Oh, he does do stage.
He does. Cool.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so let's go with the Amarant.
That's probably how he met his wife, because his wife is Helen McCrory, who's like.
I had no idea about this until about a couple of months ago.
Yeah, I saw
What
her
a
in
fab couple.
I saw her doing Medea.
Mhm.
Oh my god, she's like insane.
Yeah.
Like her stage presence is like, oh my god, insane.
What's I find really interesting about Helen McCrory is she looks exactly like my mum.
Really?
People come up to my mum and you're like, oh, you look just like that woman off of Peaky Blinders. My mum's like, yeah, I get that a lot. But my mum is like the nicest woman. She's so lovely. And then Helen McCrory always seems to get these really dark, really intense, really should be unlikable, but
Yeah.
she just manages to win you over roles.
She's like one of those fiery mothers
She is-
who like will
she
do
is, like,
anything for their child.
Such a big presence and an empowering, overwhelming presence. And I'm like, yep, that's my mum.
I'm super impressed I managed to get Damian Lewis. You're like Warfing. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
I was like, she was talking about Band of Brothers. I'm like, Band of Brothers is Damian Lewis.
Band Brothers,
I've-
yeah.
To speak
Oh,
of
I
which,
thought you were talking about Homeland.
Damian
That's
Lewis,
Homeland.
They both work.
he hasn't been Hamlet, but he's been in a production where Ralph Fiennes was Hamlet. Damian
Okay.
Lewis was Laertes.
I see.
Right. Yeah.
But he has not done, and it was on Broadway as well. So
Damien Lewis, if you're listening.
if Damien Lewis,
You want to see was Hamlet.
Yeah, I must have watched.
and have Dinner on Stage again because that was phenomenal on Network.
Yes, there was. Yeah. 12 productions of Hamlet I must have watched. So I'm a bit obsessed, and there are hundreds. So I'm missing out. But yeah, so
I don't think you're missing out.
No, I mean, I've watched without knowing where I was going with Andrew Scott, and it's true. Well, I'll develop way more in the episode focused on that, but that's the first time, and that's exactly when you put the finger on that, Anouk, when you watch that 5-minute thing. That's the first time. Usually, Hamlet is like this huge, like it's Shakespeare, so you're declamating. It's like, to be or not. It's like for the first time in 12 productions that I've seen that it was actually as he was this guy, like living this thing.
It was like internal. It was like he was like also
Did
scratching his chest. He was like to be on. Like it was like he was talking to himself. It was like whoa.
Did you guys see? Is it Mark Rylance do the "To Be or Not to Be" speech? But he was someone in the audience. He said "to be," and someone in the audience shouted back, "Or not to be? That is the question." And then, in an absolute great move, he just turned around and addressed the rest of the speech to this one audience member and was like, that is the question. And it was like, as it's such a gift as an actor, because this speech is probably the most famous Shakespearean speech of all time.
Yeah.
It's so overdone. You have so many conflicts about how to say it. Do I say it the same way? Like, how can I do this differently? Blah, blah, blah.
Like even non-actors know those two lines.
Yeah, it's like as soon as you say to someone, I'm an actor, they're like, oh,
to be or not to be.
Do that.
Say this, to be or not to be. And it was such a gift. This guy was just like, he addressed it completely to this one audience member. And then the guy starts being like, oh, well, this is really uncomfortable. I didn't expect this. And it was such an empowering, like captivating moment because it'd never been done like that before. And it was really interesting.
Can I just say, what a asshole. I'm sorry.
Absolutely.
How
But
can you, I'm so angry. Like, the whole
How do you
I was
heckle
like,
a Shakespeare?
That's fucking
That's
ridiculous.
impressive.
It's like the
No,
way
it's not impressive.
It is.
It's fucking horrible.
How? Because there's no way. Like people that heckle are usually like about 6 drinks in, or like usually hecklers are comedy gigs, right? But to do it in Hamlet, which is such an intense piece, also To Be or Not to Be is not near the beginning of that. It's like really near the halfway point. So usually by that point, everyone's like settled in and they're there.
to be fair, though, I think people do it from like a really impassioned, want to be part of it play, and you have to kind of take that as a compliment. I mean, I saw one of these roundtable things with Emmy Rossum, and she said she was Juliet in Romeo and Juliet, obviously. And she said it got to the gallop apace, you fiery footed steeds, that dreaded speech, because again it's so famous. And she said she got there and she was already kind of struggling because the director wanted it to be really quite sexual, which she didn't really connect with, but she was like, I'm going to go with it. And she starts like gallop apace, and this girl stands up in the audience and just starts reciting it with her word by word.
What?
And obviously as an actor you're like, okay, I just need to keep going because this is my job and I just need to pretend that this person isn't here.
Oh, that's so weird.
But at the same time she's like, okay, well, I don't want to try and trick this girl and like do it really fast and then pause and then do it really slow. So she just ended up saying it word by word with this girl. And no one came in to sit this girl down and no one said anything. And it was just, I think the girl was just really excited. Like she must have been doing it in like her college play, or she just knew the speech and she was just really moved by it. But I mean, what do you do in that situation? You have no choice.
Unbelievable.
in this, we talked in it's been snippets on YouTube on the cinema and theater etiquette. There was this one guy who jumped on stage to charge his phone.
Plugged in his phone, yeah.
Oh my
Laura was here.
In a fake socket.
Was it?
Yes.
Laura was here for that episode. Wasn't she? Oh no, it was you. It was you with it. Sorry, it was you with the guy that was burping next to you. That was when Laura was here last time.
Probably.
Yeah.
We
Rings
had
a bell.
on Facebook we just added Laura's episode plus the rant and questionnaire. Yeah, that was the one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I have one for Deadpool, but I'll do it here because this will come out at some point, and I'll repeat it in Deadpool anyway. I saw Deadpool the second time I've seen Deadpool because I thought we were doing it the other day, but we've changed the schedule. I went to see it, and it was still on Brighton. I was like, right, I'll just go and see it. So I was sitting there. I was like, perfect. Nobody else is here. Sunday evening, nobody's going to be here. Whole place filled out. I'm like, okay, whatever. This is fine. It's late. People will be like, just chill, and then I'll go home. Frat boys. Glasgow has frat. I'm not joking. Glasgow has frat boys. They just wouldn't shut the fuck up the whole way through. I was just like, what is going on?
I know.
And then I saw something else that I couldn't believe. The guy in front of me, it was like a father-son, right? And the dad was like, oh, who's this guy? He's like, the son's like, I'm not sure. And the dad turned to the boy and went, oh, just Google it then now. I was like, wait, what? What? In the middle of a film, just Google who a character is.
I mean, that's what you get in magic shows. Like, oh, nice trick. Okay, I'll Google how he did that.
I know.
Not during the act, though. Like,
sometimes
Francis or Maddie are like doing their card tricks, and they're like, "Oh, I'm just going to Google card tricks." I'm like,
I mean, we talked about that a few times, but magic is the big issue. Is that if you're not providing an experience and just doing 1, 2, 3, 4 tricks, it's just people will wonder. It's like I either think about did they forget the coffee machine or actually Google what you're doing. I went to see Maddie, and it's engaging all the way through. He's telling a story. That's what you want. Just like my mom's blog is about to be. You tell a story that is compelling. Well, we've been trained at ACS to know how the story works.
yeah.
So it's.
I think that's why those stories make me so not angry, but like apprehensive, because it's like it's supposed to be a story. So we understand that you've probably done it for like college or drama school audition or something, but this is something that I've worked on, and in this period of time, this is the story that I'm telling. Like, if you've heard it before, I'm not sure that gives you the right to then stand.
I love
like, as much as it's hilarious. Do you know what I mean? It's a bit like.
Yeah, I love Tasman Greg's story that she told on Graham Norton a couple of weeks ago, which was like she was doing As You Like It, and it was a great show. And obviously there was like she was getting through, and in the middle of it there was like this kerfuffle in like the first couple of rows. She's like, "Oh, what? I'm doing a really important bit here." And then she finished, and then it transpired. She found out what happened, which was it was like a school party, and one of them was like projectile sick.
Oh wow!
Over like the people in front of them, and they got up to leave, and the teacher's like, "Sit down," and they had to stay there the whole time. But she's doing this big speech, and she just thinks somebody's like causing a commotion. She's like, "I can't believe this," but it just goes to show you never know what's going to happen. Like if she had reacted off that and just see this kid white face and these people behind them, just like, what is going on here? How do you respond to that?
I think it is difficult because there's that the famous thing of Marlon Brando is it On the Waterfront, when like the girl drops her something and he comes to pick it up, and it's like everyone applauds him. It's like that's such a human thing to do, and you're like, well, yeah, that's what you would do in that situation. But at the same time, being on stage, being like Juliet in that situation, like you are kind of addressing the audience, you are kind of aware you're in a play. But you can't really address the person standing up saying your speech along with you, because that's not. It's too much of a break from the reality of the play.
Fourth wall,
and
it's too much.
It's a hard line to draw between what do you react to, but also what can I get away with ignoring without people being like, you're
missing a bus in front of you, sort of thing.
Yeah. It's tricky. I have a lot of empathy for people in those situations.
I look forward to the day that
us at some point,
I was about to say, it's like when we have that moment and we come back and do another episode, it's like, right, so you know how in the wine episode we were discussing like these big moments. I had one. It's like, oh, I can't wait.
Well, do you remember when we did Leftover at the Fringe? And there was like one person in the audience.
Was that the reviewer?
Guy,
he was a reviewer as well.
Kind of, yeah.
The review was a plot summary.
And in the scene with me, you and Donna, Anouk and Donna, we had a line about a crowd. And it was like, we kind of said it in the way of like, we are very aware that there is one person in this audience. But it's like, it is that kind of the choice you have to make of, do we just pretend that there's a full audience of people here? Do we pretend there's no audience here? Or do we acknowledge the fact that there is one man watching us?
Me and James had a conversation before our scene and was like, what are we going to do? Because the song is obviously meant to be to an audience of people. There's just one guy. So we're like, right, what are we going to do? We're just like, one of us is going to stare at him. The other one is just going to perform it. And James was like, right, I'll perform it. I'm like, right, I'll just stare at him. So I luckily with my character was like, the idea was they were like just graduated from uni and they were trying to save the world, like Bono styles.
On a gap year.
On a gap year, yeah. Songs like City of God meets Les Mis, yeah.
Well, that person will have the time of their life, like the whole thing.
I mean, he loved it. He loved the show, but he just didn't review it. Really, he just reiterated what we did with no criticism either way. So you know,
next wine. So that's
oh Christ, I forgot.
Cuvée Amarante, our second red medal, médaille d'or au concours. That's a very local award show, but still, it's from professionals, so that's quite cool.
Cool.
Okay, let's see.
This is a very cool thing.
It's very cool.
Oh. I won't need more, really. Glasses, please?
I'm going to say stop. That's enough.
Okay, that'll be glorious.
I'm not sure how to stop that thing, but...
My director is going to have a word with you in the morning.
We'll have to come to see the show and apologise.
Although, to be fair, tomorrow we actually have scheduled drinking time because there is a scene in our play where we have to be drunk. And playing drunk is one of these really horrible things because the audience knows when you're faking and it can become terribly overacted and it's really awkward to do as a sober person.
Yeah, totally.
So we're just going to go a bit method with it, and 8 o'clock our rehearsals finish and 8 o'clock is scheduled drinking time, so we're going to get a bit loose and see what happens, see if the lines come to us. So
that's really cool.
But yeah, if I'm already hungover...
Merci.
Might be hair of the dog. No, don't worry.
That's smart. Oh, I'm not done. What was it? Did I do mine? Oh. Are you good, everyone?
Yeah, we've all got some.
I'll just drink this one in case I forgot to do myself.
You did 4.
I did?
Yeah, you did 4.
Okay. Oh, yeah, I did. That's not the same at all. So this one is Cuvée. This one is Cuvée Amarante. This year so that's 2012. The year before, 2011, for many had silver for the longest time, but it just got gold, and it's a Syrah 73%, Grenache 20%, and Cabernet Sauvignon 7%.
It's so different.
Yeah,
I mean the reds are great.
I love
the reds are easily the best one we've had. The rosés are very easy drinking, very nice. Like just crack open a bottle and have a nice drink. I don't know if I'm the biggest fan of whites because I'm not a huge wine drinker really. But he says in this drunk about 6 glasses in this one episode. I think this is the most glasses of wine I've ever drunk in my life. But the reds are really, really good. Okay,
I'm gonna try and describe this.
Oh, I was supposed to be doing these similes. Hang on, I'll think of one.
This one is for all our reds. We have real cork. Yeah, snake here. Yeah, 12 months of a part of the volume in oak barrels.
Yeah, that's probably what I'm tasting. It's
what? Like. This really makes it reminds me of like you know these like neon-esque like films that's like all like very bright and like very like darkish. I think it's reminding me of like sort of like I don't know, it's odd. It's like I want to it's the worst description ever because it doesn't describe anything, but it's like mysterious.
Wow, that's so pretentious.
It's so wine drinker bollocks.
I'm really sorry. I'm gonna have to excuse myself again. I'm like dancing in my chair.
Go for it. Go
No,
for
no,
it.
go
Go
for
for
it,
it. Go for
Can't
it.
consume wine without the need to
I'm the
pee
same, so don't
constantly.
worry.
The previous one was €8. This one is 14
Ah,
for a bottle. Yeah. Actually, it's funny because I've
the
also-
last bottle is the one I bought you. For sure, I bought you the. That's what I bought you.
Well, it's the prices that you would get those at the restaurant are way higher, obviously. So that's usually what happens, is people discover those. It's always a nightmare to have your wine distributed, just like your film. So the fact that we have the
We are a
restaurant,
movie podcast. We are a movie podcast.
just the fact that the restaurant is there, makes it that you can. So usually people discover the wine at the restaurant, and it's so funny and sneaky that you don't realize when you watch the wine list that it's only my mum's wines on the wine list.
Is that true?
Yeah, it's
Every
so-
wine is, and it's not just the house wine is. That's nice.
yeah,
That's nice though.
but it's the range is so big that you can do that. There's one rosé that I didn't get here because I didn't have time, which is the one I probably should have managed to get for Mira, but whatever. A rosé which went into an oak barrel for a year, which makes it like unlike anything else, just like the previous red. But yeah, this one you can only get it at the vineyard, I think. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So this one is Cuvée Amarante, 14 euros a bottle.
I think it's lighter than the last one.
Just like the fans, so people really prefer this one over the previous one.
I disagree. I prefer
depends.
I think the previous one was.
It really depends on your taste, really.
I'm just really enjoying the whole thing.
This is Yann. Can I just say this is the best episode we've ever done. If we don't do another episode, this is the best way to. If this was the final episode ever of the Good, the Bad, and the Just Plain Standard, this is a hell of a way to go out.
It's that kind of cliche thing. Like, I'm just really happy to be.
My cousin.
I'm so happy right now.
I love you guys.
Can we go?
Much.
He's like, can we get some food and then get a taxi?
My cousin Paul says hi.
Hey.
He's,
Is he French?
Yes, he is, and he's a natural filmmaker. Like, he has an eye, so he directs and the frame, and it's quite impressive in the family. We have this guy who's been doing stuff, but he's so perfectionist that he doesn't put anything out there.
Uh-huh.
He directed the Star Wars joke thing.
Oh,
that
the thing
we
you did with your brother.
Yes,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
but most importantly, he directed a remake. He wanted to do the church scene in the
Kingsman.
James
Yes,
Bond?
yes,
Oh,
Kingsman.
right.
Kingsman.
Ah,
Yes,
okay.
he did he's not releasing anything until it's. I think he gave up because I don't know, but it's we have someone with a gift, directing gift in the family, and he's just not doing anything with, which is a shame because it's pretty impressive what it does.
Bonsoir.
That's him online right now, Paul Sicamois. Who? Yeah, but he was also a father at 16, so that's probably when you become a father so early, it eats away some of your life, I guess. I don't know. I've never been a mother or a father. So. I talked a few times how I've never been a mother.
Wait,
Ask your brother how he's doing.
It's funny. I'm going like every 2 weeks in Worthing to do some babysitting.
Maybe it's a woman thing.
I don't know what it is. I just can't drink tea or wine without every 2 minutes getting up.
Every time
It's the same thing.
Every time I'm going in a public environment, the toilets, there was always a huge queue in front of the females.
That's true as well. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not a like need to pee thing though. That's like girls just take so long.
Really?
I've never understood it. Like in an airport, like at any situation.
Like you were super quick. The both times you've been here, it's like back and forward.
I actually get commented on. This is a weird conversation to be having. People comment on that a lot. They're like that was so fast, and I'm like, what do you do in the toilet that takes so long? I mean, like,
Get the phone out, playing a couple of rounds of Angry Birds.
I mean, even before phones were a thing, like when I was in secondary school, phones weren't really a thing. I mean, you had a phone, but you didn't have games and data.
Were you like
and
when people started to get Blackberries and stuff like that, or is that?
Yeah, that was my time. Yeah. But yeah, it's like what do you do? Like, what takes so long? I mean, you get in, you pee, you go out.
Yeah.
But people are always like, "Wow, that was so fast," and I'm like, I mean, that's it. That's the whole thing.
That's all you need to do.
Yeah, I mean, guys managed to get away with it.
Anouk's already back.
Great. Yeah, I mean, other girls, I don't know what they're doing, if they're messaging their ex, if they're fixing their makeup. I don't have time for that.
Yeah, snorting cocaine. Yeah, you just need to,
The typical actor life.
Only the visual people will know that's what we're doing to get through this entire episode. That's how we survived 6 glasses of wine.
But it's probably like, I know the pizza episode is not in the release schedule at all because I had to remove some references in other episodes because I have no idea when this will go out. The pizza episode.
Let's put it out.
Yeah,
it's us eating pizza. Nobody's gonna care.
Yeah. But this one.
Can I just say on another episode, Pizza Hut, step your game up. Like,
step your game up.
Step your game up, Pizza Hut.
Get on our level.
I'm not joking. Every time, not even the margarita one, Farmhouse, ham and mushroom. I'm not joking. Every time, at least 2 slices, the dough is not cooked.
I have to say though, I do quite like a Pizza Hut. I mean, if me and Thomas are getting a pizza, I will tend to go for Pizza Hut.
Really?
But you do have to give them the specific instruction of saying, please cook it for longer, because it is a really common thing that they just serve it as bread.
Yeah, it's super undercooked. Yeah, it's like chewy.
And the thing is, I didn't realize that like in these pizza places like Domino's and Pizza Hut, I mean, how naive am I? But I just assumed it would like come out of an oven, but no, it's like a conveyor belt.
Yeah,
like,
you know, on
thing.
Have you been?
You have to ask them to like put it through the conveyor belt again so that it cooks more.
Have you been on a holiday when it's like it's like the toasters? You know, you put the bread on and it goes under and it comes back. I tried to explain this to Yann. He's like, "What the hell is this?"
I didn't know.
Yeah, that's how they do it, and it's like,
yeah, there's
it's
pretty
super
much
undercooked.
No human involvement. They'll put your ingredients on, and then after that, it just gets sent along a wee tray, gets cooked, comes out, put in a box.
I will say for Papa John's, because I went to collect it on my bike, because it's just like down the road. They do actually they don't make the dough like in house. That's probably just shipped in, but they make the sauce. Because I saw the back room of all like the tins of tomato. Like,
one Italian guy busting out this.
It's like, why am I working here?
David just joined.
Hey, David.
Hey, how are you, man?
It's
Who's David?
David is our director.
Yeah, our director. Yeah.
I was a joke.
I wasn't. Hi.
Yeah. Mm. So, are you? Oh, good. Next one.
We're on the next one already.
You're ready to move on.
Cuvée Nightfall. I'm not
Cuvée.
This one, this one you can see. It's still kind of goldeny, but with a red.
Oh.
Yeah, that's always costs a ton of money there to get those aluminum foil.
Aluminum. Oh, Yann.
Aluminium.
I know.
No, it's in the previous episode I made the joke about Weird Al. So Yann looked it up and he's like, he loves the song. The parody by Weird Al of Aluminium Foil instead of Royals by what's her face? Lord. Who actually her last album out is actually she did a song recently. It's really good. I can't remember the name of it, but it's really good.
I'm not a fan of Lord.
I wasn't either. I'm not a fan of Royals, but the last one she put out is really good. I will find when we release this episode. I will put a link to it.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh. Can I just say we've done exceptionally well on this episode compared to our sub crawl that we did.
Wow, that sub crawl was the worst thing.
Was
we
fucking terrible.
We did like 2 stops. That wasn't even a sub crawl.
We did St Enoch, Buchanan. Then we did.
What? What?
I think this is mine.
Discussing about the size of.
Yeah, so to any non-Glasgow locals, the sub crawl is.
Oh shit! That's
I'm just carefully watching, and that's enough, Yann. That's enough.
There's no control.
The Glasgow
Say
sub
when.
crawl is a rite of passage. There is 14 stops in the subway, I want to say.
Yeah, 14,
14, 15,
something around that number.
Yeah.
And you need to get off at every stop, go to the nearest pub. It needs to be the nearest if you're going to play by the proper rules, and have one drink and then get back on the tube and go to the next one. And so we were like, great, none of us have ever done this. We're all sub-qual virgins. We're like, we're going to do it. We have a whole weekend off. We're going to go. And we got on the brightest of intentions, all of us, so young and naive. 4 p.m, all started off really well. And then 3 stops later, we're all absolutely wrecked. And decided to not just do the one drink rule. We were doing shots. We were doing doubles.
No, what happened was we got to in deep, and there were several dogs.
Wow, yes, the dogs. And that's what ruined it for everyone. Yeah.
And we saw there was 2 huskies. Everyone got super excited.
They weren't huskies though, were they? They were huge.
They were like Game of Thrones dogs, basically.
Yeah,
they were like horse-sized dogs. And so lovely.
And then Jenny and all her Norval wisdom were like, shall we go to Tingle, get some shots? So we went to Tingle, and the rest of the night is history.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Was that the night that we told everyone?
No, that was the night we told Molly. Because I think we were down to Molly didn't know yet. Except Yann.
Yeah,
Yann didn't know till like
Molly.
October.
No. Actually, no.
I'm not accepting this.
I'm not
because that was the night when we took Molly we took Jenny to the Stone Vagina, which, if you're not familiar with Glasgow Uni, is this very...
Was that that night? I thought that was another night.
What's the opposite of phallic?
Oh, that's a good question.
I'm sorry, after this Bin Laden one-man show episode, I'm not ever again using vagina, so cunt is fine.
Okay, so
Oh, because it's a sheath, right? It's,
sword scabbard.
We should have asked what he studied at Cambridge.
I know, we
never did. Why didn't we ask that?
I think we basically found out that vagina basically means like
sheath. Empty sheath.
Yeah.
Empty sheath.
Which is like,
It's not that nice.
Fucking angry
Yeah,
at
it's
that.
like a thing to be filled.
Yeah, it's like,
Don't define me.
I'm not
right.
useful. I'm not useful if I'm not filled.
No, you're not.
Anyway,
Not useful, not fulfilled.
Okay, moving swiftly on. Guys. There is a very female phallic sculpture outside the architect/archaeology building at Glasgow Uni, which looks like a giant stone vagina, and it's a rite of passage as a fresher that you should go through the vagina and be born. So we took Jenny up there, and then I come wandering back, and Adam and Anouk are kissing and holding hands. And I think I must have been the only person on this subcall that didn't know about it at the time. And I'm like, you guys, have you just seen this? Are you reading into this? What I'm reading into this? Are these guys together? And everyone's just kind of like, oh yeah, that's a thing. Like, do you not know? And I'm like, no.
The day after, soon after that, me and Anouk decided, okay, we're kind of a thing. We went to dinner with Jenny. Went to dinner with my mate Ryan. We went out for a meal because that was a couple of days after me and Anouk had just seen each other for the first time.
Trust me, you're good. I learned about them in November. So.
7 months later.
Oh, Yann doesn't actually know yet. He's living here. Like, why do you guys have 2 separate beds? I actually sleep on the floor. That's why we've got a blow-up thing.
We're just friends that sleep in the same bed.
Yeah, we're just
that's just
we're living together because we can't afford to live alone.
Yeah.
This one is Nightfall. So that's the one you can only get at the restaurant. I think it's €12. I don't have the technical thingy, but
I think this is my favorite. It's lovely.
It's based on the previous one, but it was in oak barrels longer.
It's like velvety chocolate.
Oh, wow.
On a hot summer evening.
That's
that became very sexual.
It's very luscious.
4 stars in the sky.
It's like a full-bodied lip.
Your eyes lock.
It's like a secret kiss on a warm summer night.
I mean, I've noticed.
I'm pretty sure this is what Romeo felt the first time.
I think I'm drunk. I think I need to go home.
So do we have anything to say about the movie?
What movie?
I will say, if anyone else had directed it, I don't think this would have been as panned as it was.
The thing is, it was a weird Ridley Scott film. It was a weird Russell Crowe film, and yet it was just kind of nice.
I really enjoyed it.
Really enjoyed it.
It's very gastro porn. It's
very yes, yeah.
But at the same time, it's a really accessible, kind of nice film. I mean, I don't have anything bad to say about it.
I felt Ridley Scott had watched a couple of Carry On movies as well. Like it really had a Carry On vibe to it.
There were some jokes that I was just like, oh, for God's sake.
Like the whole bit with the scorpions that was a recurring joke. I'm like, that's a Carry On joke.
And he keeps being like, oh, bollocks. And you're like,
Oh,
you can't pull
bollocks.
that off. You
I
can't
know,
you are.
she was always just like, lavender.
My name is-
lavender.
It's like
Oh,
my name is
lavender.
my name is Fanny. I'm like, right, of all the French names you could have went for, you've called
Yeah.
her Fanny.
Fanny Chanel.
Fanny Chanel.
Yeah, Marion Cotillard is wasted in that film. But
She is so beautiful. and
You-
so amazing.
there's-
I love her.
I need to bring the Dickeneck card because that's a movie that she is in, and she plays a teacher on cocaine,
Fuck me.
and she's just like
I had a teacher
killing
like that.
it. It's like, right, that's you didn't like her when she died on Batman, but in this one,
that was bad, to be fair. Let's face it. That is that one take that she was kind of just marking just to get the shot right, and then they used it, and you just know, like,
Which film?
in The Dark Knight.
Oh, Maggie Gyllenhaal.
No,
no,
Marion
no.
Cotillard, when she
the
dies.
the meme, the famous meme with her dying, like
It is literally worse than what Yann just did. It is terrible. She kind of just makes a couple of croaking noises and then just snaps her neck to one side. Wow.
Maggie Gyllenhaal's death in that film. Don't worry, Harvey. Some bomb. Just gone.
maybe that was a direction. I know for one of the best Batman movies, the Batman and Robin. The director
Shut the fuck
had
up.
a those voice like huge, like you would shout out.
What's his name? His name.
It's Joel Schumacher.
Joel
but,
Schumacher, yeah,
He
yeah.
had those like huge directorial.
You're-
Like it looks
George, your parents are dead. You've just become Batman, and action. That's how George Clooney describes the action of that
that
film.
was definitely the standout performance of his career. So
This is why Superman works alone. The bad credit card.
and that's
Never
why
leave that.
the
And that is the only on-screen performance of Poison Ivy, played by Uma Thurman,
Uma Thurman, what a babe.
where Batman and Robin compete to try and win a date with her.
And Ice Cube's there. Let's not forget.
I've never seen this, but I'm obsessed
Isn't it Vanilla Ice?
with Poison
Oh,
Ivy.
yeah.
it's
It's
vanilla-
not Ice Cube. Oh, my gosh. They're definitely not the same
It's
person.
Vanilla Ice. 'cause
Wow,
he's,
yes, Vanilla Ice.
'cause
Ice
he's
Ice
also-
Baby.
he's also in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movie as well, I think. I
Yeah,
think it's in
I'm
the
so
second one as
wrong.
well.
Ah.
I suggest that we should probably avoid the last two reds and switch into the white afterwards.
I think I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
'cause
The two reds, there was another French one, but the Margot, and the other one is a Chilean one with a Carmenere, which is a variety that
We
was
can make it through those three.
we say Carmenere, which is probably wrong. You can correct my pronunciation.
okay. I have no idea if it's Carmenere or Carmenere, but I know it's been removed from France, like it's illegal.
Is it?
It was at
Not
some
me.
point. It was at some point, so you couldn't find it.
That is the.
Can't believe it.
I think the highest price wine we sell in my work is a Carmenere. Carmenere.
Have you tried it?
I have. I mean, I have tried all the wines.
I mean,
Have
I
you?
make it a priority of mine to.
I have to check if the
to
bottle
know
is
what we're
corked.
selling.
That's
Is it
this,
nice?
right? This.
Yeah, the exact same Carmenere.
I think that
Carmenere?
variety. I mean, it's funny because I think many years ago there was phylloxera. I think a mosquito that was destroying all the French wines. So the U.S. actually saved French productions because they still have some of the varieties in the U.S. that they
Those-
reintroduced in France.
Those bloody those bloody Americans turning up late to save the day, save the French, bailing them out.
I mean, and it's funny also. You know how now the vines are in lines, kind of thing.
Yeah.
They used to be just like
Dotted about.
everywhere. Like now it's
must have
obviously
been a
easier to
nightmare.
actually harvest. Obviously, that's how it works now. But it used to be like you had like just like seeds, and it was just like throw them. So it felt like when the actual mechanical harvest came, and it now it's obviously everywhere lines. I think. What do you think? We should probably at least try the £70 one.
I think
probably.
we have time for two more.
Yeah. Okay, let's go for the 70 and the sweet wine to finish off. We can save the other one for the Mira episode. Jesus, we've done quite well. Yann, how are we doing on the bottles? Because obviously they're not open. Except the rosés. Did we drink all of them, or do we have to finish? We have to finish them.
The rosé will have to finish them afterwards. When
Oh yeah!
That's fine with me.
Oh, what a shame.
Yeah.
That's fine.
What's your director's name?
I'm Zoe.
Zoe, Zoe, as as the founder of The Good, the Bad, and the Just Plain Standard, I severely apologise for the implications that this episode has taken on your actress. I'm
going to have to come up with some serious bribes for tomorrow to get away with this.
Okay.
It's not true.
Maybe.
Laura is one of the most professional, intelligent people that I know. She'll be able to deal with it, won't you?
Yeah. Hopefully tomorrow we're just rehearsing the drunk scene, in which case I can just say that I've got methods.
It's like, I really want to talk about the deep meaning of our scenes, and Laura's like, oh no. Yeah, I agree with what the last person just said.
Suivant. Next, please.
Oh shit, the glasses.
Oh shit, I'm done.
Unfortunately, I am going to have to agree with Laura and Anouk and break. I have to go to the
It's
bathroom.
impressive you lasted this long, though, I have to say.
Yeah, I'm quite impressed with myself, actually.
I'm literally like wine and tea. I'm exactly the same. Wine, tea, and beer. I'm like,
It's a good job I don't live
I have to go every 5 minutes.
Merci beaucoup.
Oh, yeah.
Do you think there's like a scientific reason why it's like tea, wine, and beer?
Maybe because we have like baby carrying space, our bladders are smaller.
But then when it comes to like spirits, I'm usually better.
Oh, that's interesting. I'd have to test that, because tea is my main thing. I need to I'll go with my mum's and drink 3 cups of tea and then just be non-stop in the toilet, and like she'll be like fighting me out of the way because she's the same. And yeah, I don't know, wine is the same. I wonder what it is.
I don't know. Because not everyone's like that. Because sometimes I'm at a party and like people will be drinking wine, and I'm the only one that goes like 5 times, and people will make fun of me about it, and it's like, why is no one else like this?
I think this episode will go down in history books as being the longest, because we have surpassed the 2 hours and a half of the R. Paul Wilson one.
Oh wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, we've been here a while.
Oh, babe,
Yes,
let us know when you need to go. Like, don't be.
I mean, I was planning on being on a train about 10 minutes ago, but
Oh, really?
there's wine to be drank.
There's wine involved in this episode.
I know, but I don't want to be like. You don't,
Anouk, chill,
It's
bro.
cool.
just,
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not like you, but don't feel like you're being rude to be like, shh, I need to leave. So don't.
This one is no longer a Domaine Névalon Fonfresque. It's a Château du Tertre, Grand Cru classé
Easy for you to
en
say.
1855.
Yann had a glottal stop there.
Margot, 2010.
I love how even the French guy was like, how do I say that?
Sacre bleu, I can't even say this word.
This one is 70 quid a bottle.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Whereas, so the previous one, yeah, it was 12, I think.
I might just be drunk, but does anyone else feel like they can taste it in like a different part of their mouth?
No, I know what you mean. Yeah, totally.
At the back?
I'm feeling a very up and
Yeah,
like
I'm at the roof of my mouth.
middle to back sensation.
No, I get that.
Yeah, it's right. I feel
Wow.
it right at the back, actually.
It. I'm gonna stop.
No, Laura, come on, it's a
I don't know what
podcast.
I'm saying. I feel like it. I tasted. Oh my god.
I taste the
tasted it,
rainbow.
and then like it it opened up the whole space in my mouth and left this like channel for the taste to go down, but it very much stayed around the edges. Wow, I think I need to go.
Thank you so much.
This is great.
Oh my gosh, we're drunk. I love you guys too.
Are we still live, by the way? Because I'm going to share this and just say, come and hang out with some drunk people.
We are. We still have...
Are we live? Oh
Yeah,
my
we've been live this whole time. I'm going to share this and I'm going to say, come and join us. We're totally smashed. Hang on.
I'm not a very pretty drunk. I'm sorry. Anyway, this is very good.
Your wine is delightful.
It's so
Thank
good.
you so much for sharing this with us.
That's the. Yeah, we added 3 questions in the questionnaire so we can keep up to date. So at some point when we're done with the tasting.
Yeah, some structure would be great.
I just put on Facebook. We're all smashed. Come and hang out.
You're not wrong.
Yeah,
I'm not wrong.
We can. Yeah, wait. Oh, yeah, you shared. Do you have anything to add about
The movie?
the 10 seconds about the movie we talked about? Do we have anything to add?
You
6 out of 10.
6 out of 10.
It was just plain standard.
It was a little bit plain standard. Like, I'm not sure if I'd watch. Would you watch it again?
If it was on, yeah.
Yeah.
If it was on and past the halfway mark, probably.
But I'd much rather watch
The whole
something else.
bollocks at the start with him and like the trader. I'm like, I don't care about this, but I
Sorry.
know you need it to like. Oh, my life in London is bad. I need to live in
I mean,
Provence.
it will speak to you more if you have an interest in wine and when making stuff. Obviously,
It's interesting to think
Yeah, and
because
I'm kind of smelling some Parkinson's off you right now.
throwback to the start of the episode.
He's got a very twitchy hand.
Is this something that you should do as like a wine?
Can I just say that Yann's the first red wine we drank is better than this? I think.
Whoa. Some harsh critique. I would disagree. I like this one better.
Really?
I think this one is like a velvet eclair. Caramel and
do you
It's very. It's
Smooth.
nice. It is absolutely excellent. But
do you think that because it's whereas most of the ones that we had were in the 15 to 8 range, then this one is 70.
I mean, for 70 quid, I agree that this is an excellent wine. But for what your vineyard is offering and the taste that you get, I could easily say that I would drink your wine preferably.
I think what we need to do right now is to like redo this entire test but blind so that we don't know which one.
So we'll get you back tomorrow
Next
after
time.
rehearsals.
Let's just do it now. Who has plans?
No, we're all free. Let's just bring the wines back.
Please welcome the wines. Way!
The Sicamois wine.
The Sycamore what? That's easy for you to say. See that 3
Okay,
times.
say that. Sycamois wines.
Sycamore wine,
Sycamore
sycamore wine,
wines.
sycamore wine, sycamore
Sycamore
wine.
Sick of my wine.
Yeah. Sycamore wines.
Jan, can I just say you're easily the best flatmate ever? I mean, these
Oh my
wines are
gosh, you're so drunk.
these are phenomenal. Nah,
Yeah,
I'm
the-
all right.
These are really good. Yeah.
Anouk, you're really pretty.
For people at home not knowing what is happening, so we basically tasted was it like 6?
I honestly.
I
just
think.
thought
Hang
the
on. There was
headphone
two. We
wire
had
was
2.
My hair.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
We had 2 rosés, 2 whites. Did we have 3 reds and then this one?
Let's move on the next one.
Yeah, the last one is we'll go with the last one.
I personally think that your wines are better.
Yeah, I think so too.
So sorry, that last wine wasn't one of your family.
No, it wasn't. No, it was the
This one was a Margaux. That's
Chateau
the
de Mar.
Chateau de Margaux.
Chateau du Tertre. No, Chateau Margaux is you have to have a daughter called Margaux, and you have to have a massive amounts of money to get those bottles. So this is a Margaux wine, but not the Chateau Margaux.
I mean, it's perfectly nice, but I think I've enjoyed the red that Yann's family make are better. I think.
Le Night de Fall, I think, is up there with my favourites.
Really?
It's just so different to anything I'd ever had.
It's really nice.
The one with the vines have been removed from Provence entirely was really nice, especially because you don't usually get anything like that at all. Do we need to switch the glasses back to the small ones?
Yes, please.
All right.
That's the sweet right now. Le Trésor de Clair.
I'm looking forward to this.
Vin blanc moelleux. Sweet white wine.
That's Laura's one there.
Oh, thank you.
I think the capsule must be
I think it's more.
its last stage.
What's quite funny is that if we meet like Emma, she's going to be like, "Why didn't you invite me on your wine episode?"
I did.
Did you?
Yeah.
What'd she say?
She said I have an early start on Thursday.
Which is fair and definitely what I should have said. But I'm a lot more weak.
How early is your start?
I need to be there for 9.
Oh.
Okay.
So, I mean...
She has to be in Edinburgh for 8.
Well, that's different.
That is quite intense.
Fair play to Emma.
Yeah. Thank you. So what happens if you don't use that extension? Does it just come out as a drip?
I probably shouldn't actually. It was only necessary for the reds, the thingy. But
Okay.
yeah, whatever. It.
Oh wow.
It's like apricot.
Wow.
Laura's just hating me because I'm beautiful.
No, I was doing like an Owen Wilson impression. I'm sad that you didn't get that.
Wow.
Have you seen Wonder?
No, I haven't.
It's very good.
It's really nice, actually.
Is it just like Marley and Me, but instead of a dying dog as a child?
It's a book based on this kid that has like a facial deformity.
Oh yeah, which is the guy that was in
The Book of Henry and
Room.
another one. Room.
Yes.
Yeah, would be
Yes.
yeah.
Jacob Tremblay.
Tremblay. Yes,
Yeah.
talked about it
the
a few
one
times.
actually that's the one thing that I felt was bad about the film is that the boy wasn't actually like deformed.
Yeah, there's
They like put it on him, and I was like,
That's
Yeah.
kind of shitty.
I found that really I felt really awful about it. Like, as much as I'm lucky, but I am scarred.
Would you? So you would be pissed if like they cast somebody and put a scar on them?
Yeah, I would
Yeah.
be, because like there must be other people.
I'm
that,
here. Yeah, that's
a little bit. It was a little, but also it feels a little bit disrespectful. Like, if you're good looking, and because the boy is young, maybe not anymore, but he was very young. So, I mean, he was a very good looking boy, and then they just put on scars because that's better than.
I agree with you. I think it's the whole thing that is very true about how you should never play down a class, but you can play up. Like, you can, as a middle class person, you can definitely play an upper class, but you should never play a working class because you don't understand the plight, you don't understand the struggle. It's the whole thing with like blackface or like the whole Rachel Dolezal thing. Like, you can't just say that you're black and try and inherit all these struggles that like these people have faced the entire time. And as someone with a facial deformity, as an actor, you can't pretend to know any of that. It's not your job. It's, even if you're the best actor and doing the best job you can be, like, it's not your job.
I think that's what I felt.
Shout out to my mate Jay who's watching this right now.
That's the one I was talking to you about. I couldn't gather her name, but Rachel Dolezal, just like Sean King.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
No, I totally, like, I was watching that documentary on Netflix, and I honestly was, especially because it felt like she was enjoying it the whole time. Oh, I'm writing a book about my struggle, and I'm writing a thing about my struggle. I'm going online because my struggle.
You
of
don't
what?
have a struggle.
Like, what do you mean? Like, you're not black. Like, you're pretending that you're black because what? You have an identity crisis. Like, that's bullshit. I'm sorry.
Should we just? Yeah.
Sorry, I just said that in Olympic speaking. It just sounds like I'm like, yeah, I think that's super interesting. Shut the fuck up.
You were focused on the wine, weren't you?
I was looking at the wine like that, like, yeah, it's like, the Sainsbury's thing that I introduced you to, like that really, you introduced me to the really sweet wine from Sainsbury's. Yeah.
Yes, I got a bottle for Yann, at some point.
It's like that wine was just like all it was sweetness, but this actually has like extra flavor to it. Like there's like a fruitiness to it as well.
Well, let me tell you what's in there.
Yeah, tell me what's in it, Yann.
I actually can't. Because
you can't read the bottle. No, Yann's not actually French.
No, it's not on the bottles anymore. It's on my phone. My mom sent me a text earlier, but it's on the phone that is filming us, so I can't tell you.
Shall I guess? Let's have a guess.
There is one variety.
Apricots.
What? No, there is one variety.
Peaches.
Are there apricots in there?
Mandarin.
No,
Mandarin.
I mean, that's what
Guava.
Orange.
Like that's what you get, but
lemon.
it's grapes.
Pomme de terre.
Grapefruit.
No, I think
pineapple.
It's Petit Mansin. I think
Satsumas.
Is it Petit Mansin?
Clementines.
Petit Mansin,
Mandarin?
I think, is the variety that is used for this one. That's That wine you would use. I think this one is €10.
Plums.
That one you would use with foie gras and desserts.
Oh.
Totally just upstaging Yann's by whispering fruits into the mic.
I think we're done with the wines.
I think we're done with this.
We could probably experiment with those.
Oh yeah, go for it. Yeah,
Shouldn't we?
Oh,
yeah. Let's have a go at that.
Because I actually have.
Laura is out of it. She's smashed.
I have those lemons.
Did they not take like a good 20 minutes?
Not really. Just make sure that you coat your tongue with those miracle berries. It's not drugs. It's natural berries that was just dried and
Totally legitimate berries.
into peel forms. That's which I actually discovered that in San Diego, where the premiere of Our Magic. There was a guy.
How long do they take? Because I think
10 minutes, I think. So.
Fair enough, yeah.
We're done with the wine. So yeah, just take this.
I'm not done with the wine.
Just take this pill and then you'll be.
Do you have time?
You'll make.
You did with PJ.
Oh my god!
The very first thing Anouk did.
The Book of Science.
Oh, yeah. She froze the she froze the pill on the floor.
The pill.
No.
Shall I tell an embarrassing?
Mark was like,
I'll tell.
Please don't throw the pill away. Okay, we'll
it's
do
not
it
dramatic.
again. And I threw it again.
I'll tell an embarrassing story of when Anouk was like flirting with me, and I was totally oblivious to it on the podcast. Me and Anouk did a scene like 4 or 5 weeks into the not even that, probably 3, because it was like January, and it was the scene where we had a bed in the scene, and she in the rehearsal room she was like, why don't you just come and sit beside me and we can talk about the scene? And I was like, no, I'm fine over here.
No, that's really okay.
Just
you have your space. I have
just
my
make
space.
sure you get those miracle berry tablets to dissolve and coat the whole of your tongue. That's the idea.
So yeah.
I mean,
if you have
I said
time.
I'd be home at 10 to 9, but here we are.
Anouk's become really motherly.
I did.
Motherly, sorry, I was moving the
I'm always
berry
motherly. I'm always motherly.
except when Balder tried to kill us.
Yeah,
and you're
I
like,
was
fuck
like,
Balder.
Freya, kill your son. He's a dick.
Yeah.
I just don't want because this is our thing, so I don't want our guest to feel like she needs to be here.
I'm having a good time.
Okay, good.
Good. Let's do.
We could have done that last wine, by the way. I'm just saying.
We can do it now with your taste buds.
Ruined.
That was yeah.
Oh well, next time.
I really was wanting to have a wee food thing when I got home as well, which I think is out the window now.
Because to have a red wine also is interesting.
What's happened?
What you?
I swallowed it.
Yeah. I guess that.
Sorry. I wasted one. I'm sorry.
So far on our audio listeners, the podcast, it's berries, so it's based on an African fruit, berries. So it says here on the experience something truly amazing. Berry tablets transform ordinary foods into the extraordinary. Berry is all natural and made from the finest selection of miracle berries. Turn on your taste buds and seduce your senses.
Hashtag not an ad. Not an ad.
What are your taste buds saying? Place one berry tablet on your tongue and dissolve completely. Now create and enjoy your own experiences.
I know what mine are saying. I was like, where's the wine gone? Where is the wine gone?
So we're cutting so it's the way I experienced it, which was awesome, and that's how I made sure my parents and brother and sister experienced it. I was telling them a story about an orange tree and how you your mental palace and everything, you go there. And at one, they had eyes closed, and at some point I just gave them this fruit. They had their eyes closed, so they didn't know what it was. And then it was telling the story, and it's just like, now it's a nice plum orange, just like mouth it, let's just go for it. And it was lemon, and it just tasted like an orange. Didn't work for my sister, so it was like, what the? But yeah,
They're not berries though, are they? They're tablets.
they used to. You can see the berries. That's what they used to be.
Oh, they've been turned into tablets.
You can
okay.
dry it, and you can actually purchase the actual plant and grow them just like you would now, because you can in California marijuana. This one is entirely legal everywhere.
Available at all good grocery stores.
So let's just introduce in there. So Laura, if you had the opportunity to go and view any culture from the past, like if you were completely invisible, had a Babel fish, and walked around amongst the Romans or cave people or Native Americans before the European came, who would you choose?
It's a good job we chose to ask this after Laura is smashed.
I think, the ancient Egyptians. I think I would like to be like Cleopatra's handmaiden. I see kind of what that was like. Have some really fierce winged eyeliner. Because you need to be stylish whilst experiencing the history.
You need to look your best where you're handling our wash basin.
Absolutely.
That's
I mean, like, fuck before. Oh, sorry.
Don't worry about swearing. Let's go.
Excuse the times before makeup and fashion was a thing, but I mean, Cleopatra is like ultimate babe. So yeah, I would like to see that. I don't know.
Hashtag Queen of the Nile.
I mean, Assassin's Creed Origins has a discovery mode. You can You can visit ancient Egypt, and you can see old white men like reading books, and then brown women just cleaning floors.
Yeah.
Like,
The interesting thing I learned from that is that Egyptian women had like all the rights. They had rights to vote, own property, all that. Then the Greeks arrived and went, bollocks to this.
Yes.
Get them back in their place.
There was a Hatshepsut, a female pharaoh, that was one of the most sneaky thing that can happen. Like if you did a crime and like punishment, your name erased from history. I think
bollocks.
that happened to her. Yeah.
Jesus.
Whoa.
Okay, Yann, I'm ready for that lemon. Hit me up.
Hang on, we're 30 seconds away from the 3 hour mark. My cousin Michael is watching this.
Hi, Michael. Mike.
I'm going to be really mean to Anouk and say, what is Michael's wife's name?
Let's just bite into it when we're already... No, well, it's fine.
Because it's... I won't be mean.
Yeah,
what is it?
It's funny.
It's Michael and who?
I completely forgot that I actually got some of those tablets to Anouk and Adam, and also
it's
Laura.
Susie,
So we all tried those already.
It's perfectly fine.
Oh, that's so beautiful.
I mean, mine's sweet, but I also eat lemons.
No, that tastes fucking good.
I think I might just be drunk and hungry. Everything's fine.
We can also...
I like how there's a whole table of like Pringles, Wotsits, crisps,
And we're
nuts,
like, no.
and we're eating fucking
But
lemons.
this lemon.
We're eating fucking lemons.
We don't want your fucking shit.
It's the funny
Anouk,
thing.
it's Michael and Alana, and Richard and Susie. That was the question.
I don't
You do know that because we went over this. Because
Save your
You know.
domestic for later.
This only screws with your taste buds. So the thing is, if you do, well, we won't do that there. But you try those tablets with vinegar, it's the same kind of stuff. But the stomach will not thank you the following day. Like,
So what happens, like, you know, you get these eating competitions where it's like, can you eat these really spicy chilies? Is this like cheating? Like, can you eat these chilies without tasting it?
That's very true. Do you think they
But
have like
is that
tests for
oh,
that?
by the way, I'd like to thank you a lot because the latest pasta that you cooked were actually, I loved them. Like, I mean, I always love what you cook, Anouk, but it was not like exceptionally, like incredibly chilly, like hot. So I was like, oh, I love that. Like, I can actually appreciate, like, not feeling like there was an episode of Hot Ones trying to get to the 10th.
Good, I'm glad. I'm a really good cook. Are you okay, Adam?
That lemon went in the wrong way.
I think I will have to head soon. Do you have any final?
No, I asked a question. 2 bonus questions. Guys, do you have 2 questions to ask Laura?
It was so good to see you.
I'm just going to die quietly in the corner.
No, but it was really nice to see you. And thank you so much for coming on our podcast.
Thanks for having me.
And yeah, I should see you guys for coffee.
Of course.
It sounds like I'm like,
We should do this more often.
do you want? No, but it also sounds like I'm like trying to like go out with you. Do you know what I mean? It's like,
You guys, you
When-
guys
Your
when-
got-
boyfriend's right here. Nick.
when are you
You
free
guys
for
got a
coffee?
minute?
No, but you know what? It just sounds really weird. Like, no.
Your sister with my brother and his fiance. Like, no, it's just like to get out. It's just nothing weird or
Yeah, exactly.
to get out. But
No.
yeah,
but,
I
like,
probably should go into things I love and things I like. Oh, ratings. We'll
Yeah,
focus
how
on the film. Probably we talked like 10 seconds about the film.
What film? A good
there, there.
year.
Good year, 2006. So, Anouk,
Yes.
Adam, Laura, and me was a good year. Good, bad, or just plain standard?
Just plain standard.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree with it too.
Yeah.
But like in a good way.
With the asterisks of enjoyable.
Yeah, yeah,
Flair.
exactly.
Flair, isn't it?
Good.
Flair,
It was,
yeah.
It
Flair,
was
yeah.
standard, but with a flair of.
Enjoyable, good.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I mean, it reminds you of stuff if you've ever been in a vineyard. So also probably adjusting. It doesn't revolutionize anything, but it was not as feel-good movie as Chef was. Have you seen Chef?
Not yet,
Is
no.
that the Bradley Cooper?
No, that's Burnt.
Burnt,
Chef
yeah.
is John Favreau. Is a food truck.
Okay.
Very, very nice. It's just an excuse, the food truck, because he has issue with his wife and kids anyway. Anyway,
Like John Favreau. He's
things
cool.
things I love. Legion M. Do you know what Legion M is?
No.
It's the fan-financed production company. They helped produce Colossal. They helped produce Mandy, which is a weird horror thingy with Nicolas Cage going out.
Or the drug.
Or Barry Manilow again. We talked.
What we doing?
We talked about that earlier. And Bad Samaritan with David Tennant. And to finish, probably things I'm unsure about. I went to see Somni.
Oh yeah, the thing that Jenny sent to the.
Unsure about. Sorry, that was really
Enjoy.
loud. Sorry. Sorry. Unsure about. How do you mean, Yann?
I mean, it's an experience. I mean, there's actors in there. It's part VR, part
Ladies, pull it together, love.
AR, part acting, part escape room, part Alice in Wonderland. It was weird. Probably weirder than the secret cinema that I'm going to do next week. Blade Runner.
That'll be good though.
I thought he was about to say escape room. I'm like, why are we not invited?
It's a very different Ridley Scott film to a good year.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
they're-
the same guy that made Alien made this movie. What?
That's
What up, Ridley Scott?
Yeah.
I mean,
I
Alien.
know you're watching.
Yo, Alien
What's that
Covenant.
about?
I'm
Yeah.
not joking. Alien
What's
Covenant.
going
What the
on?
fuck happened? What happened?
Yeah. You should cast us in your next film.
You won't cast me. I just shit all over Alien Covenant.
I mean, the thing is, you have to find. It's in the Thierry's book. There, it's quite funny. You have to find something in there. Just like Nicolas Cage did. What was the movie with a fiery skull thingy? Because his sons loved it when he was a child. That's the reason he did it. it was a massive
Ghost Rider.
Ghost Rider tanked, but everyone has their reasons.
I really enjoyed Ghost Rider when the first time I saw it, but I was
How
very
old
young.
were you?
Oh, young.
So my mum, via the domain, says, "You're going to sleep well after this wine tasting."
I'm already half asleep. Yeah.
Yeah, it was amazing. So this was an interesting podcast where we all just got smashed.
This is going to be a great audio episode. I'm going to listen back to this and go, fucking hell, we got smashed at the 1 minute 30 mark. Oh dear.
Okay.
So also
In this episode, I said me and Yann got cast off of an episode of The Good, the Bad, and the Just Plain Standard.
Not
This
anymore.
episode will not be doing anything for our endorsement as actors.
We just got fired.
Look, six or seven glasses of wine.
Yeah.
More. Could be 2 roses, 2 red, 3 reds.
I can share for video's sake. You can see here. That's my mum in the vines.
Oh.
Organic wine, Domaine de Vallon-Fonfresque.
She's blonde now, right?
Now she
Yeah,
is.
she's
Yes,
blonde now.
that's the we had to take new pictures for the blog. The blog, which
so
is
pretty.
going to go out. Yeah, she's talking about Lee the other day. It's funny because my mum, whenever I contact someone on Facebook, she's like contacting them, also friending them. And at some point, she told me, Lee contacted her. Are you a friend of Yann? And how do you know it? Well, I'm kind of his mum. Okay.
My mum said, oh yeah, Yann's mum tried to be friends with me on Facebook. So I think they're friends now.
Oh, that's sweet.
Okay.
I mean, it's great for marketing purposes, but you know.
I'm going to fall asleep at your table. So
Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
gonna say thank you so much for all the wine and the hospitality. It's been great.
Thank you for
Apologies to Zoe, the
coming.
director.
I'm so sorry.
No,
Please don't fire me.
no.
I'm quite glad that the whole of tech side went well.
I know,
I'll see
that's a
afterwards.
miracle.
It was very good.
So
Thank
the
you,
so the
Laura,
moral of the
so much.
story is get pissed and the technical will work fine.
Yeah, this time you have your Laura Toblerone bar, so that's quite cool.
There you go.
I'm
Thank
so
you
excited.
so much.
Thank you. Do I get to take it home?
Of course you
Yes,
do.
Of course, that's the
Oh,
whole
no, it's
point.
yours.
Yes.
yours.
And next time you're on,
You get another one.
just bring the name tag again, and we'll
Okay,
just
I'll-
fill it in.
I'll save it forever
Yeah.
as a
that's-
memoir of this great day.
That is totally yours, babe.
In terms of filmmaking and storytelling, it was an intense episode. We went really
Yeah.
deep into the.
I mean, this is the best critical episode of a movie we've ever done.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Laura, for coming.
Yes.
I had a lot of fun.
It's,
and thank you, Yann, for bringing the wines.
Not very far from Aix-en-Provence, the vineyard. So lvdf.fr, and you'll get a little flag on the top right with the English. So if you want to have a look, and my mum will start a blog very soon. Anyway, so you'll get all of that.
Cool. Yeah,
And the whole of history about the whole thing.
Highly recommended from all 4 of us, actually.
Yeah, for sure.
While we were still sober, it was an excellent wine. And as we got drunk, still an excellent wine.
Excellent wine.
Yeah.
Excellent.
So
thank you so much for listening.
And thank you for Claire for founding a
Yes,
vineyard.
thank
Keep
you.
going.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know,
Thank you, Claire.
for reviving a vineyard from death to create excellent wine.
And good luck if you have kind of something you want to eat out of the fridge in the next hour, because with those berries, everything will taste differently now.
Oh, bollocks.
Yes. And that's kind of a joke that the guy who introduced me to that told. The guy who introduced me to that, okay, you have that now, it's permanent. Like, what? No, it's just 2 hours or something. But yeah, miracle berries. That's okay. So thank you very much again. I probably forgot to prepare the end credits. Did I?
It's fine.
Maybe I didn't. I'll see.
And we're
thank
not
you.
done yet.
It's in just 1 minute.
Sorry,
So thank you again very much for everyone watching and being there for the live. And we were
Anouk.
Yann and
Laura.
bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bonsoir.